Hey everybody, my name is Brian, that is Shane. This is the Popcast Unleashed on Thursday, the day after that absolute banger of an episode 6 of season 3 of Picard. And we have a lot to talk about today. Like, so much, it's ridiculous that I'm turning into a high school teenager. Like, so much. Oh my God. It's gonna be a wonderful show. Shane, how you doing, brother?
Doing okay. I'm doing okay. I am suffering the results of late night Picard episodes.
Yeah.
You know, we wait for them to come out and we watch them because we want to make sure that, you know, even if we have already seen them, we want to make sure that we are watching them on Paramount Plus. And then when I go to bed, I just put it on loop, so they see that I've watched it 56 times by the time over the next several days.
73 times.
How are you doing today?
I am so tired.
All right.
You know, every Thursday we do our show, but then like the day and the night before, we're like trying to set up all the Prime episodes that are supposed to go out. So it tends to be a little bit of a late night every Wednesday. But you know what? It's the best kind of late night because it's late night with good Star Trek.
That's true. That's really true. And a couple things coming up, so you guys are aware. We have Kirk Acevedo. He will be our prime guest on Raw Rant on Monday, so you'll recognize him as Kryn, the Vulcan, crime Vulcan, from the last episode of Picard, and also from 12 Monkeys and Band of Brothers and many, many other things. Fringe. He will be on the show, and that's going to be awesome this Monday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you guys come back for that. And we'll have every week, we're going to have guests that are somehow attached to Picard Season 3 for you guys. So, yeah. And before we get started here, we got to break out we have to thank our advertiser, EKSTER Wallets, for sponsoring this episode. And Brian, if you can pop out your wallet real quick and show them what it looks like. Want to thank them for sponsoring today's show. There may not be any need for a wallet in the future of Star Trek, but it's a necessity for us in our daily lives. And oh boy, do we find the last wallet you'll ever need to own. We've discovered the most efficient smart wallet in the world, and it's made by EKSTER. They have revolutionized the wallet, and we will never go back to bifold. Super slim, sleek, and futuristic, EKSTER wallets can fit in your front pocket and still hold up to 12 cards. This high-quality wallet combines Italian leather, space-grade aluminum, and carbon fiber with built-in RFID blocking to protect you from wireless theft. Oh yeah, it also comes with a tracking card in case you misplace it, like Brian and I do all the time. So we never lose our wallet anymore. Check out EKSTER Wallets right after this video. The link is in the description below. Go to shop.ekster.com/thepopcast. Get 25% off your order when you use code ThePopcast. We thank you for checking that out.
Yes.
All right.
All right, man.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, of course, we're talking about Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 6, The Fleet Museum. That's going to be fun.
That's what it's called, the Fleet Museum.
I mean, that's the big thing this week, which is great.
Or maybe Data.
I mean, Data too. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to unpack this week.
Yeah.
Also, we got word there might be a Strange New Worlds Season 3. Interesting. Considering that a lot of the stuff right now for Star Trek is sort of in the air because Paramount bought way too many hookers and too much blow. Because they ran out of money, apparently. I think Strange New Worlds might be getting Season 3. Also, we're going to talk about the boys and the toxic boys. The boys and the toxic boys. So the boys are talking about toxic boys.
That must be Carl Urban's crazy Twitter thing.
Yeah. Look, I love Carl Urban, but, you know, people aren't right all the time. That's for sure. And a bunch of other fun stuff. But really, those are the main topics, and it's gonna be awesome, dude. It's gonna be awesome.
Wasn't there something about boom, boom, boom? There was something else we just needed to talk about.
You mentioned the Brendan Fraser thing and the whale.
Yes, I think we did, right?
Yeah, I didn't get like a specific article, but apparently, like people are being real weird about the fact that Brendan Fraser wasn't actually like 700 pounds for that role.
Yeah, I thought fat phobic weird stuff around Brendan Fraser and the Whale, which I thought was appropriate since we're rather large human beings.
Yeah.
Might be appropriate for us to talk about that. Also, the White House honored the producer of Scooby-Doo. I'm sorry, of Velma, which they got her a big thing. And I kind of wanted to just mention that. I know that's something that's going on out there. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about that later.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So all fun, all good stuff to talk about.
Excellent work. Please come to the White House.
I wonder if Biden even saw Velma and the fact that like the first part of it's all like naked teenage girls.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, for real.
So
maybe
tone deaf. You know what it was? This is what it is. Most of these people are gauging the success of something based on how much it's trending on social media, right? Because it's a streaming show, which means they don't actually have like Nielsen numbers or any numbers. They have no numbers on who watched this or who cares, right? But it was talked about so much because of how revolting it was that based on just looking at the spreadsheet numbers, it looks like a huge success because it's based on. That's why I got a season 2, because it was like, oh, people are loving Scooby-Doo. Look at these numbers. No one's actually looking into what people are talking about. Everyone's saying how horrible it is, but a lot of people are saying that. So that's enough. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, it's just interesting. I really wanted to the thing I wanted to focus on. I know you probably didn't get a chance to look into it. Was did Mindy Kaling get the award because of Velma, or was it a broader like her work in Hollywood overall? Like because she's a writer and she's done quite a bit of stuff. So I kind of wanted to figure it out because the narrative was that she got it because of Velma. So maybe later on the show we can explore that a little bit.
Yeah, I doubt it's because of her stellar work on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. All right.
Well, The Office, everything else.
Yeah. I don't think she could take credit for The Office.
All right.
I mean, there aren't even people in like they're not even United like. But that is a spinoff of a UK show, and she was an actor in it. I don't know. Anyway,
well, she was one of the main writers for The Office.
Right. Eventually, though, right? Not at the beginning.
From the beginning.
Really?
Yes, she was. Absolutely. And so was Ryan in The Office. Anyways,
yeah, I knew that Ryan was.
We're here to celebrate Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 6. And we are going to talk more about kind of background stuff. I got to tell you guys, we had an incredible interview with Christopher Monfett, one of the co-executive producers of Picard Season 3. We went to his house, did a really great like Joe Rogan style sit down interview. That's going to be coming up here pretty soon, probably in a couple weeks. We'll give you some of it, and then we'll probably do like a full thing for the members. So don't forget, members, like if you are not a member of our channel yet, you'll want to consider doing that for the low cost of $2.99 a month. You can actually talk with us after the show, and we do a whole members section where we talk about special things.
Yeah, I'm turning my light up because it's like really dim.
Everybody wants to know what you're going to do.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So anyways, so we do want to talk after the episode. We're going to talk about some like the interior things going on. Where are we looking for a new Star Trek series after this? Like what's happening with that? Who are the players? So stick around after this and we'll talk about that directly after we break down this episode scene by scene.
Yeah, if you're not trolling Twitter, we got some news on that front. Actually, people have been speaking about what's next. We got a $1.99 super chat from Foxhound, banger of an episode. Fucking salute. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the episode where everybody goes, how the heck did they pull that off?
I think when we first saw it, I was like, I can't wait to see the reaction from some of our YouTube friends who are like really into the ships and just watching their brains sort of like unravel at all the different ships that they fit into the same scene.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's pull that up and get rocking.
All right, let's do it. Are we in full ups and downs mode?
We will be. We will be, sir. I gotta get prepared. This is gonna be one of those reviews.
You're like cracking Red Bulls and like you're trying to get stretching out.
Oh.
How are you guys doing out there in YouTube land? Hopefully you guys are having a great Thursday. Everybody's hung over because here's the thing is if they're here watching it, they've most likely seen the episode, right?
Right.
So they're just as tired as we are.
Yeah, or they don't have sleep the way we do because we're old and unhealthy.
I would venture to guess most of our fans are old.
Yeah, Trek Yards will be busy, Bill. You are right.
It's funny. We tried to get we want Trek Yards to come on to the Raw Rant show, and we knew that this episode was going to have all the ships, and so we had been trying to like get them to come on this Monday, right, so that we could talk all these ships with them, and they just didn't have it in their schedule. But yet we couldn't say like, you guys really need to come on after episode 6. Like we couldn't like be very specific about it. So unfortunately, but we do have Kirk Acevedo, which is going to be fantastic, and we'll get Trek Yards on a future episode for sure.
Kryn. Yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, here we go. Sorry, I had to skip through the 1.5-minute long Strange New Worlds ad that now is mandatorily playing before every Picard episode.
Really?
I don't get it. Another super chat from Foxhound. Thank you, Foxhound. Not even out in UK yet.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry, bro.
I tell you what, I feel for everybody in the UK who has to wait an extra day. I still don't understand why that's the case. I know there's like network things or whatever, but if you're in the UK and you want to watch these things right as they come out for whatever reason, I mean, I think a VPN is like, was it like $7 a month or something like that?
Yeah, either that or the high seas.
I don't know. I don't know how to go about the high seas, but I do. VPNs are not hard, and you can get one, and for the next few episodes if you.
They're really easy, and you can get like 3 months for like $3. So
it's like really cheap to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's rock. If you do not know how this works, let me explain it to you, my friends. Pretty much, if we like something, we're going to give it an upvote, and if we dislike something, we're going to give it a downvote. And at the end of the wonderful episode, we will average those two numbers and come up with an official Popcast score. Are you ready, Shane?
I am ready.
Are you ready, though? Because I see you're drinking. Are you ready?
Damn it, I keep drinking something, and as you ask me the question, I'm like drinking, and you're like...
Here we go.
Okay.
Are you ready, Shane?
Jerk.
We open up. This episode is called The Bounty. It is season 3, episode 6, the final season of Star Trek Picard. And the opening of this this shot, like this is the shot right here. I love this. Just the 3 starships, like in that formation.
Yes. Oh, can I just quickly say how the last week's episode ended?
Yeah, go for it.
So last week's episode ended with the Titan narrowly avoiding capture by the Intrepid thanks to the sacrifice of Ro Laren. We know that changelings have infiltrated Starfleet at the highest levels. Jack has something very wrong with him. And we've also learned that, of course, Worf and Rafi have been investigating this undercover all along. So, yeah, now we're here.
Yeah, that was the episode where someone clearly took Jack's dog and he lost his mind.
It started, killing everybody.
Yeah, there's some people didn't know how to feel about that. They were like, I don't know how if I like, Jack Reacher, Jack Crusher, or whatever. I'm like, keep watching. Keep watching.
Yeah, that's true. You know what's funny about this device here? You would not know what that is. Nobody would really know what it was unless you watch the subtitles that the changeling underlings do right now. Because they don't ever actually say like that this is essentially a faux transponder. Like this is the Titan's fake transponder signal that they've dropped. They're like dropping transponders. And that's why the ships are chasing them.
That's rad. That's rad. Okay, where are they, Vadic? So how you feel about Vadic? Yeah, how do you feel about Vadic right now? You think it's you think she's starting to come into her own, or are we have yet to see like because up until this point, if I'm going to be honest, I feel like Vadic has yet to really come across as like a 3-dimensional villain so far. She's there's something there that's terrifying for sure, but we don't know. I don't know at this point. We don't know if it's is it a comical kind of villain, is almost like mustache twirling villain, or is there something deeper there?
Well, she definitely comes into her own, and I think throughout this episode, I mean, we see it here. So here is a character who, or what are some of the things she says? She says there will be a day of lifeless bodies burning in space, right? She talks about unity and peace, and she's talking about that within the changelings. But first, they will have vengeance. So we know there's this character is layered, right? We also know that she is that's complicated because she's working for another person or something, changeling. We're not exactly sure what it is, that has no regard for her or anybody working with her. So there are levels of that. And in this episode, she does things that are sort of unsorted, that make no sense. She's unhinged. And I think you can get that. So I think she definitely is already like elevated above the mustache twirling evil villain, but yet at the same time, you're right, we have not seen her full form, and I think it is building up to that.
Good. That's a great answer, Shane. I didn't expect that detail of an answer. Thank you.
I've given this some thought.
Clearly. Part 6, The Bounty. I love this. All right. All right, so this is when they're talking about Jack, right?
Yeah, so Jack finally went to his mom and told her, after that last scene where she's essentially afraid of Jack, as he's basically saying he didn't know who was changelings and who wasn't. He just killed everybody. He comes out and says, look, he's been seeing things. So she does a scan, and we find out that he has Irumodic syndrome, which he got from Picard, because it's something that's passed down. And of course, the sad part about it is that it's terminal.
Right.
So you can live a long life with it, but at some point it will kill you. And of course, it is what killed Picard, and it is why he's in a different body now.
A robot golem.
Robot body.
Yeah, golem. You can always do what Picard did, and just turn yourself into an android. Problem solved.
Yeah, well, he has that talk with Jack here a little bit. He actually has a moment where he's kind of like, you're young. There's a lot of time to solve the problem.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. Like, he wasn't going to die until he was like 100 years old. So,
right. Well, he did find out when he was much older. So Picard actually doesn't find out about his Irumodic syndrome until the episode of All Good Things.
Interesting.
So he was much older when he found out that he had it.
Isn't it wild that there's a disease that they can't figure out how to treat in the 25th century?
Yeah. Well, yeah, disease. That's actually does make sense to me, because we're not going to know the answer to everything. And he actually doesn't find out that he's terminal until Picard season 1. So he's much older when he finds out about this.
I see.
And so he's having the talk here with Jack, and Jack's kind of responding in an interesting way. He's basically, he's kind of pissed at him, because he's like, my mom spent all of my life trying to protect me from collateral damage as a result of you, but I was born with it,
right.
And it's like, damn, that's pretty strong. In fact, I'd like to upvote that. I thought that was a really good.
Yeah. All right.
Really well said.
Yeah, I wonder how this plays into his future. If we get a show after the fact, is it going to be, it's not going to be something we even have to worry about, because it can take so long to kill you.
I mean, there's obviously probably a lifetime of it. The fact that, you got to remember, in All Good Things, everybody thought Picard was hallucinating because of his Irumodic syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And so the same thing's happening here. Beverly thinks that Jack is, Picard wasn't hallucinating, right? He was actually, traveling through time. So it's kind of funny that Beverly says that she knows that Picard was traveling through time. I believe. I don't know if we ever addressed that. I guess the episode ended.
That's a great question. We don't know. We don't know what that version of Beverly knew, and every version of every instance of the timeline was different once he fixed it. So
right. So we don't know what went on after that, but we do know that she does think that Jack also is so they don't really think anything's going on. So we're back to the we kind of know something's not right, but they're kind of back to, well, maybe this isn't all about Jack.
Yeah, there's some interesting theories out there, as the chat suggests. There are some theories that he's a shapeshifter, and that they don't know whether or not, maybe he doesn't know he's a shapeshifter, or some other entity has taken over his body and is protecting him from the shapeshifters. I saw a really cool theory. I mean, really clever, from the Nitpicking Nerd. And he said he thinks that the caretakers have something to do with this, because the Compans all died out or something. Because at some point in the Voyager, I guess the Compans had like red eyes. And then the other theories are mentioning like the wormhole prophets, like the evil wormhole prophets. What are they called? Paw Wraiths or something like that.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It might have something to do with that, because they were like red and people saw red. I love this. I love that there are so many people spinning so many theories. Like this is what I live for as a Trekkie, is seeing all, even if none of them are correct. Honestly, that doesn't matter. The fact that we're able to spin all these tendrils out there and see all these possibilities and have these long 300 comment long Reddit threads where we discuss the ins and outs of the Bajoran wormhole prophets is hilariously awesome. Like this is like Star Trek,
That's a good point.
I love it, man.
Did you tweet out our show?
I did not.
Wow. We are not doing well today, sir.
We're not doing great today. No.
I just got a thing saying, Are you guys gonna do your thing? And yeah, we're doing it now.
Tweet it out, bro. Tweet it out.
Well, then you talk while I tweet.
Yeah, in fact, if anyone's out there, please also tweet this out, or Facebook it, or MySpace it, or whatever you're using. I don't know. All right, before we get to Worf, because I know Shane's gonna want to talk about that. A couple more cool theories about Jack. That I didn't know I had time for. Now I do. So we have the Paw Wraiths, we have the caretaker aliens, right? The Ocampans. And then one of my favorite was, what if it has something to do with the holodeck characters rising up, right? So someone's like, so if Moriarty is in this, and Moriarty was a holodeck character, what about that character that Worf killed all the time? The weird skull character that sort of resembles a little bit Vadic's puppet master. Yeah. They're like, what if because of like a nebula and it shocked the hologram, all these holograms that have been like treated poorly by the Federation are rising up. And a picture of the one skull-looking bad guy that Worf constantly killed in the holodeck.
He's getting revenge,
right? And there was a good 70 or 80 upvotes on this thing. People were really into this holodeck character theory, and it just, man, I love Star Trek fans, because nothing is too nuts. Like, if you can make it work scientifically and in the canon, everything is on the table, and that's the wonderful thing. Now, I hope people don't get disappointed when they don't see their crazy holodeck character theory panning out. But
nobody should ever get mad. Yeah.
Even if it doesn't, here's the deal: that is a really cool theory. That's a wildly fun, awesome theory. Like, don't let that go. Like, that's what makes Trek awesome. And some of these other theories, like the Paw Wraiths, there's good points here. There's great points on why they work. People complaining about the changelings. and how like the way they communicate and they don't kill people because Vadic kills one of the changelings. Remember, this is a terrorist version of the changelings.
Yes, the same. Right. They need to point out this is an offshoot of the Great Link. The Great Link decided, hey, we're done, and but a group said, no, we're not done. So they're not on the same page.
Yeah, they're the baddies, and the baddies have no problem killing each other apparently. So they're not following the rules of the Great Link, and they might not even be connected to the Great Link the same way the other in-universe changelings are. Just to be clear.
All right. Well, we are ready to continue. Oh, so did we get to Worf yet? Yeah. Yes.
Admiral, permission to come aboard.
I love the way Worf has always been played. He's the straight guy. He's the straight person who's funny, and doesn't know he's funny and not trying to be funny, and that's what makes him funny. I just love him. Just give me an upvote because Worf's
here. Same here. I'm giving an upvote as well.
They have this great moment. They're back on board. Worf knows exactly how long was the last time they saw him. 11 years, 5 months, and 4 days. He's been counting.
That's awesome.
Since the last time they were together, which was fantastic. And then you get this the inside joke of Chateau Picard continues.
Yes.
Like the teabagging on his wine is just continues as he tells Jean-Luc, your mead is very sour and quite tart.
Yeah, I sent you bottles of mead. You mean the sour mead?
Yeah.
You know what's great is it's like a running joke that his wine sucks.
Right.
And no one knows it, and he doesn't really know it.
Right.
It's hilarious because I have 2 bottles of his wine back here, so I'll be selling them on eBay later on.
It's a great running joke because there's so many things that are serious about Picard. Like there's so much about the character over the years that have been serious. The fact that he would have like the greatest wine ever created, like just makes sense. Like, he's going to be the greatest wine in Star Trek, but the fact that everybody's like talking about how they don't want it or it doesn't taste great or whatever, I think is just perfect.
Right. Yeah. I think it's hilarious.
So upvote me for that one too, please.
Yeah. I'll upvote that too. Someone said wine is not mead. I mean, that's true, but Worf doesn't know.
But that's what he called it because Worf don't know. Like,
right. Yeah, it's awesome. So this whole reunion, I'm not gonna upvote it a third time, but it's really great.
But I love the look on Worf's faces. You see Beverly, she's like so happy to see him, right? She's hugging him, and Worf looks like he's in pain.
Come on, he's not a hugger.
Yeah. This is the stuff we wanted, guys. This is what we wanted as TNG fans.
Yeah. And the instant reconnection between Riker and Worf is just awesome.
Right.
Like the last time these characters actually saw each other, but like, okay, let me ask you a question. Is it just me, or do a lot of people have those friends that, like, really good friends that you don't actually see very often, right? Maybe you see them every few years even. But the second you reconnect with them, it's like not a day has passed, I have some friends that are such good friends that we can spend almost no time together. But when we see each other again, after like 3 or 4 years of being, separated, we just fall right back into that groove. Like it's no big deal.
Yeah. You're connected to the past.
Right. Some friends I have like that, and I feel like Riker and Worf have this bond where they can just sort of pick up where they left off every time they connect.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same. You're tied to the past, to the adventures that you went on. I mean, that's what you remember of your friends. And I think when you get back together again, you have this, you kind of get locked back into that time, and it felt very comfortable. Let's not forget one of the most important things that happened here. When Rafi comes on board, she says she addresses Picard as Jean-Luc, right? Not as JL.
Yes.
Which I thought was great. Because here's the thing.
I can't believe I'm going to upvote that. I'm upvoting that right now.
I upvoted for me too. Because the thing was, by her calling him JL in the first season of Picard, it basically said, hey, this person is weirdly closer to this character, to Jean-Luc, than really anybody else, because nobody else ever gave him a nickname. Nobody else, he kept everybody at an arm's length. And so it was unearned when Rafi walks up and she's calling him JL, like they've been best buddies since she was a kid.
Right.
And it felt false. It felt wrong. And so that gets cleaned up here by, Jean-Luc. She don't refer to him as JL. And I think that's the best thing that could happen here.
Yeah, and you got a really good point there. It's not earned. That's why in Picard season 1 it was so exhausting, I guess is the only word I can use.
Cringy.
Every time she said JL, I was like, stop talking. Stop it. Oh my God, stop. Because we've grown up with this character and we wouldn't call the character JL.
Right.
So when this random person who, from our perspective, has no connection to him, and none of his friends, and we wouldn't, like, in this fictional universe, if I was in that fictional universe, I would not call him JL.
Right.
He deserves more. That character deserves respect. Every time she did that, it drove me nuts. And it would take me out of the episode because it was so unlike what should be happening. So I'm really glad that that's not happening here.
Yeah, and then we also get a kind of an awkward moment here between Rafi and Seven, because we know that they're no longer in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you must have skipped back. Yeah, so it happens here pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it's when she gets off the pad there, and they just kind of, they're no longer in a relationship, but they're doing their best to be professional. You can see, so.
Yeah, cool. You just burn past that whole thing. It didn't make any sense in season 2 anyways. So let's just burn past it.
Well, they set it up in season 1. It was such a weird thing. Like the very final shot of season 1, when they're showing the La Sirena, you see the shot pan around and like they're holding hands.
Right, in season 1, yeah.
And so that wasn't earned. They just spent a whole season together. There was no longing looks, whispering in the corners, no love building between these two characters, and all of a sudden they're holding hands in the final scene, and you're like, come on, guys, you can't have two characters fall in love that you never see them actually fall in love.
Yeah, off screen. Like,
and then when you learn the story of how they decided they were going to create this couple, that they were at some sort of party and they were jokingly like, being goofy with each other.
Right.
And some, foolish young writer or whatever came up and said, "Oh my God, we should make you guys lesbians."
Right.
And it's like everybody's drunk and everybody's like, what a great idea.
Yeah, here's a reenactment. Oh my God, it would be hilarious. What will be hilarious? What if on the show we were like a couple? Oh my God, that's so funny. And somebody's like, let's do that. That's a great idea.
Right. Yeah, it was all a joke. It was just funny. And then somebody like who can make things happen was like, yes, let's do that. But the problem is like
they wake up the next morning and they have new pages and they're like, what the fuck just happened?
Well, they don't, it's earned. Like we said about the JL, like you got to earn these story changes, especially with legacy characters who have like a history of not being, a lesbian. So, the fact that, you can have it if you want, but it needs to be earned. So the bottom line is, going into this season, they're now not together. And I think there's one more time when it gets addressed, but I thought this was handled very professionally. They didn't sit here and linger on it,
Yes. Yeah, no, they didn't. I love that. Okay. Now we get to the old conference. This is a conference room, right? Ready room? What is this? Someone corrected me last time.
I think it's the ready room.
Okay. Well, so let's just call it the ready room. It has the same purpose, guys. Every time someone corrects us, it's not the ready room, it's the conference room. I don't know. Listen, they're all gathered there talking.
Conference room. Yeah. Right.
Right.
It's essentially the same thing.
Right.
I mean, it may be in two different locations. There's probably an operations room. If you want to get specific about it, there's an ops room where you do ops planning. Then you've got, the boss's office, which is the ready room. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, they're talking about the changelings, the Dominion War. All right, you want to fill in this episode?
You get a nice little backdrop. Worf gives, he addresses the Dominion War, talks about, basically kind of what's happened. And let me see here.
He says there are scars and shame on both sides. I love that.
Yeah, and well, we get the fact that the Dominion War happened, and that Starfleet basically created a virus, to wipe out the changelings. But then Picard quickly says, well, they also came up with the cure, right? And then Shaw here, says not without weaponizing a few zealots in the process. So it kind of tells the whole story broken down by multiple different characters here, which is nice.
Yeah, so it's referring to, obviously, the splinter terrorist group of changelings that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, and essentially we learned that there's less than 48 hours until Frontier Day, and there's still no answers.
Right.
They also know that they're going to need to go to Daystrom Station in order to investigate what the changelings stole.
Right, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Is this our real first look at, like, the inside of a Daystrom?
Yeah, so you have Daystrom Institute. This is the first Daystrom station. So you have Daystrom Institute, but this is like a black site for Daystrom. Off the books, Section 31 stuff, things like that.
Yeah, super rad. There's a subreddit called the Daystrom Institute, and I'm just like, I can't wait. I'm gonna go there tomorrow after enough people have had time to process this episode, and watch everyone just unravel. The whole point of the subreddit is right now, this moment.
Right.
All right. Yeah. They're still talking about everything we just, there's an astonishingly lethal AI system, which I liked.
Yes. Yeah.
So they got to go there and they got to use the key. Blah, blah, blah. All right.
This is actually really funny.
Yeah. Breakups on my home world. Sew them in without bloodshed.
Well, it's before that, though. He says, there's this like really uncomfortable moment. Like, well, it's not uncomfortable. So Worf doesn't care, right? So it's obvious that Rafi and Seven are like, they were together. And then Worf has this line right here: "I have gone into battle with lovers," right? And all of a sudden the whole room's a little bit like weirdly uncomfortable between the two of them, right? And so he says, and I suggest, basically suggests that 7 of 9 comes along with them. And then when she passes, he's like, good, because they seldom end in bloodshed. And it was just so funny because, basically he's going to say, if we put you two together, somebody's going to get killed. So,
it's awesome.
Really funny line.
And we get the trailer lines. Finally we get the trailer line where he talks about pacifism, and he's like, we're all going to die.
Yep. People finally get to see the context. And of course, now we've had half of a season where Worf's been, killing and maiming people. So we know he's obviously not a pacifist in the sense that he's not going to do what he needs to do.
Right. Yeah. I love that. During the setup to this season, everyone's like, what do you mean Worf's pacifism? He has a giant sword, guys. Relax. Everything's fine. I love how they introduced him too, with killing everyone. It's awesome. All right. Now we're in the Daystrom. And this is in all the trailers, when you saw like that almost blue light interior shots, this is where we're at. Finally, we see where we were at in those trailer shots. Okay. You want to tell me what's going on here?
We're back on the ship.
We're back on the Titan,
so basically they have an hour on Daystrom. So they got an hour to figure out. They're trying to find the log so I can find out what the changeling stole. But the problem is that as soon as they get down there, basically Starfleet ships show up. So even this whole like fake transponder thing they've been doing, dropping their transponders and getting them off scent, is not working. And they've shown up here. They followed the Titan. So they're trying to quickly get the away team off of the station so they can escape, but they can't because apparently there are transport inhibitors.
Right. Yeah, they can't get them.
Right. So they are actually going to have to leave.
And leave them on Daystrom with
murderous
AI.
Right. It's because if they don't leave, they're going to find out quickly that somebody's down on that station.
Okay. I love this line too. Sydney says, short of being invisible. Like that was like, this is like foreshadowing.
Say that one more time.
When she said, I can't actually click it in the right spot here.
What was the give it the backstory to that?
Yeah, they'll be able to track our residual ions.
Oh, I see. Well, the reason why they talked about that was because they said that their weapon could, if they shot them, right? The reason they had to leave was if they actually hit them with one of their weapons, whatever the technology is they use would allow them to track them after they've been hit.
Right. And Sydney says, so we can't come back short of being invisible.
Right. And that was foreshadowing. You're right.
Right. Okay. All right. So they're going to take off.
Now, we do realize here that Kryn's device did work. So when they initially get down there, the computer, it's kind of funny that they gave the computer a little bit of a humor, and the computer's like, identify yourself immediately, right? So it's asking at first, then it gets more insistent. And then when they drop the Kryn device, the Kryn key into the thing, it says, thank you for identifying yourself. And then it said something like, no drinks in the main lobby or something like that. And I'm like,
yeah, no food or drinks in the main lobby.
I didn't. Yeah, no. I'm like, oh, okay. It was just kind of funny, something you would hear on the airplane, I guess.
Yeah, or on a Disney ride.
Right.
Okay, and I love this cinematography. I love the light. I'm giving this an upvote. This whole station's pretty awesome.
I've got a few upvotes coming here myself.
Yeah, but I wanted to get out the general look of the station is really rad. All right, what is this? You want to just go through these crazy Easter eggs?
I don't know what that one is. There was a couple that I could not see because they were out of focus, and I tried desperately to get a couple of answers. So we can stop them and take a look. But go ahead and hit up the first one here. So they're going around Daystrom, and there's things obviously.
Let me play it so I can get the right screenshot and not get copyright claimed.
Yeah, it's a good idea. But there's going to be several items here that we run across.
Good stuff.
Which are good,
Yes, here's the first one. The Genesis 2 device.
So this is interesting. So I'm like, wait a second, didn't the Genesis device get, exploded?
Right.
And create a planet? And then you're like, oh, it says Genesis 2. So who wouldn't be surprised that, Section 31 has a second Genesis device laying around somewhere, which is cool. A really nice throwback to the Wrath of Khan, to the TOS movies, which, if you're watching this season, obviously there's a lot of inspiration pulled from the TOS movies in the way this show is made. So I thought that was really cool.
And another upvote from me.
Upvote, yeah, I want an upvote on every one of these. Yeah. So
let me get you the next. Let's get to the next one.
And anybody who says this is fan service, all I will simply say to you is, F yeah, it's fan service.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like, absolutely. And if you tell me that you didn't want it, you are full of shit. If you're a true Star Trek fan and you're now, the people who complain about things like this, the people who complain about things like this are people who didn't experience it the first time and don't give a shit. Right. Those are the people who complain. And anybody who watched Wrath of Khan and Star Trek 3, and listen, Spock died because Khan set off that device, right? And then Spock's reborn. I mean, it's an incredibly important part of Star Trek. So if you don't like that, then I'm not sure what to tell you. You're watching the wrong show.
Yeah. Some fan service is good sometimes, guys, and this is great.
Yeah.
All right. Now, next upvote is the remains, some kind of biosigns, I guess.
You didn't upvote mine.
My bad. Sorry, you're right.
Because we were tied.
So this is James T. Kirk.
That's his body.
Is his body?
Yeah.
There's some kind of like skeleton. Yeah. I mean, there's more than the skeleton there. We're seeing the skeleton, but there's also like nervous system. Like there's something going on here.
Where? I don't see that. Where'd you see that?
Yeah, you see like there's more than just a skeleton in here. You can see like it looks like an X-ray.
Oh well, I mean, well, that doesn't mean he's alive or anything. No, I think it's just his body.
Oh, but it could be his body, not just his skeleton. Why would they be holding onto his skeleton?
Well, I mean, DNA, whatever. This is his last resting place, obviously.
Is it though? What if?
Are we watching the same show here? What are you talking about?
What if? What if there's a clone of Kirk
No, stop. Okay, we're not doing this. Okay, this is Kirk's body.
Come on, guys.
Stop.
Come
It's
on.
not a clone of Kirk.
We can get
Okay.
We can get a young Kirk and a young Picard, aka Jack Crusher, in the 25th century.
No, they're already trying to do the Paul Wesley.
But
Kirk,
wouldn't it be cool to have like Kirk's son and Picard's son traveling the stars together, getting in adventures?
I'm happy with what we've got right now. We don't need to create any more offspring. But so this is great. I mean, as we recall in Star Trek Generations, Kirk dies under a bridge, and the line has always been, it's pretty sad that he died under a bridge instead of on a bridge, right?
Right. Yeah. I love Terry's just like a quick little toss. I'm just gonna sort of retroactively fix where he's buried in the universe. I love this super chat from Foxhound. If Terry brings Kirk back, he becomes a god. Right?
I mean, it's funny, it's like there is a danger. I mean, you're right. As like a fan, it would be fantastic to like have, that's like my dreams, but the reality is too much of that and it starts to turn the show backwards. So
yeah.
Still upset that we haven't gotten a William Shatner thing. He hasn't been in Trek in so long. It's really
They should have given him one last ride.
At least we get Kirk's body. At least we get Kirk.
Yeah. Oh, what about this? Another
I need an upvote for the Kirk's body.
Yeah.
Oh, now there was. Can you pause it on the one where Worf? It comes out the one that I sent you the screenshot.
Oh yeah. Let me find that one real quick.
Because in between, after Kirk's body, there's a shot that we see, a very quick shot, and you can't read what it is on the screen. And maybe the people here in chat will be able to like recognize it.
Yeah.
Because we spent a good amount of time trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah, it goes by so quickly.
It's so fast. You have to catch it essentially like as soon as the frame begins.
Right.
Because he goes from focus on the backdrop to focus on Worf really quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to get it right now.
But, essentially what it looks like to us, and I don't want to describe it yet, but
I'm almost there.
Hopefully you guys can see it.
What is that?
Oh, that is so far away.
I know. I guess I can try to zoom in.
Well,
no, I can't.
Because that was not. It felt like it was closer on my shot.
Yeah, it wasn't. Let me try to zoom in.
Okay. So, anyways, it looks kind of looks like a Borg regeneration chamber. And it looks to me like the first word says Borg, but then the second word's Archmage. Look at here, he's got it. That's a Borg vinculum.
What?
Vinculum. Borg vinculum.
What is that? Of course, Archmage knows. Of course.
Oh, okay. There we go. The vinculum is the processing device at the core of every Borg vessel.
Interesting.
Which brings order to chaos. It interconnects the minds of all. Thank you, Archmage. Good job. It connects the minds of all the drones. It purges individual thoughts and disseminates information relevant to the collective. I can't tell you. I looked up Borg V everywhere. I could not figure it out.
Interesting.
So that's interesting. And if you look at the images on StarTrek.com, it does show that. Yeah. So that's cool. Good catch.
Yeah, good job. And don't forget the genetically modified attack tribbles.
Yeah, so you see this, the cuddly tribble, you're like genetically modified tribble, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow. So just a nice Roddenberry for us,
It's a
and
Roddenberry.
Of course, the joke is Riker's like, oh, Worf, you're not gonna be afraid of a little tribble, are you?
It's awesome.
It was a good moment.
Yeah, the whole thing. The mighty Klingon taken aback by the even mightier tribble.
It's funny. They have this little moment right after this. It's like, he's like, because Worf didn't like push back at all, and Riker's like, come on, you used to push back.
Yeah, it's great.
What happened to you?
I see that you still find comfort and humor. And humor in other people's discomfort. I used to poke back. What happened? I love this. again, it's like two old friends that
Mm-hmm.
that that just instantly reconnect. It's really fantastic watching. And Rafi, this is her best episode so far, and her like sort of like pleasant refereeing between the old friends was sort of works.
Yeah, I think so.
So the security system obviously knows who Riker is because it has an old shot of young Riker, aka from the Nemesis period. So
yeah, it's interesting. You're kind of looking at, you're not sure what's going on here, but the recognition is definitely there.
So it recognizes Riker, and it's generating a security response specifically for Riker.
I think so. That was, it was really hard to determine what that was. They tried to explain it. And I think what the ultimate explanation is that it was trying to reach out, which is why the holographic crow shows up. It wasn't trying to harm them. It was trying to reach out to them.
Well, see, yeah, I think it was specifically a security response for Riker, so that only Riker could then, I guess the right word would be defeat the security, to get past the security, so that I get it's specific to Riker, not Worf, not Rafi, Riker specifically, and that's why it shows this picture and it says generating security response, which I like. I had texts this morning from people like, "Oh my god, Data is the AI genius." I'm like, I know, it's good, very good.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm collecting some receipts this morning. I want everyone to know that because I'm getting texts from people that are telling me that we were right, and it's very nice. It's very nice, very nice.
Well, we should be right. I don't. There's no reason why we wouldn't be right.
But there were people on the fence for a long time. Even though we had 5 good episodes, it was like it took this episode before they were like,
"Really,
I'm all in. This is awesome." Yeah,
it took them this long to go all in, huh? Oh wow,
it's wild. They were just waiting for it to go bad,
Yeah.
Activating security system. Okay, so this is what's good. Yeah, and this is when we get like the crow, and I think therefore I am. I love this. Oh god.
Yeah.
So upvote.
Yeah, definitely an upvote.
Oh my god, it was so good. All right, so let's talk about his age. Some people are complaining online about his age. You have a problem with this?
Oh, I mean, you guys know the actor's old, right? Like really old.
Guys.
I mean, listen, there's only so much we can do here, I know, the funny thing about fandom is, it's so funny how you can feel about something when you're not responsible for any of the cost involved with creating it.
Right.
Which makes it very, very interesting. But, the funny thing about Moriarty is that, he's not in it for very long. And I'm very curious to see how people respond to the fact that, he's kind of here. He's kind of being used as like the security thing for Data. And, and of course, Riker has to defeat it by doing the Pop Goes the Weasel song.
Yeah.
But that's it. So I think there was a lot of people who thought, oh my God, Moriarty might be the big bad villain of the season. And some people are saying, well, he was wasted in the preview clip because he wasn't here very long. Well, what I can say to you guys is that sometimes things are given to us as a misdirection.
Right.
Sometimes they are trying to get us off the scent of what they're really trying to do. And a lot of the using this character in the previews was to get people talking about the show and the possibilities of who could be the villain. But it was never intended for him to. He only filmed for 1 or 2 days. And, what's interesting is we found out really early on because he did this video. The cameo things where you can hire an actor.
Right.
We can talk about this now. We tried not to put too much light on it back in the day because it really hurt the production. But he did a cameo for somebody who hired him, and he basically gave away everything almost about the character in the show. He said he only filmed for a day, right? He said that this isn't the Moriarty from the show. I mean, he basically gives it all away. And then he even mentions the Pop Goes the Weasel in the cameo, and we're like, oh my gosh,
in the cameo. Yeah.
This is not great that he's doing this. And luckily not many people ever saw it. So you didn't get surprised.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, we took the cameo, we had it in one of our videos, and then someone was like, hey, that cameo had like 800 views until you put it in your video. Can you please cut it out? Oh yeah, my bad. We were really amplifying the message, that's for sure.
Yes, we unfortunately were part of the problem. But the cool thing is that, why bring him back? Well, frankly speaking, Terry Matalas, the showrunner, wanted him back. That's why he's back.
Yeah.
And he's great. He's a great connection to Data. And it's really nice for us to get to see him. So
yeah, and we're gonna get to the Pop Goes the Weasel stuff here pretty soon. It hasn't happened yet, but I do want to discuss as to why that's so brilliant when we get to that point.
Cool.
All right, and the
money shot.
The money shot. The Fleet Museum.
The money shot. I mean, look, I could just stay here all day long, just right here. Upvote. Just give me 2 upvotes.
Yeah, I'll take 2 upvotes too. Can we just stay here for a minute? Let's just have a moment. That's right.
I mean,
it's a hell of a thing, isn't it?
There's something about Star Trek where you just, we've lived all these stories. We've seen these ships, and to have them all here as part of a museum is just brilliant. I mean, huge shout out to Terry, to Dave Blast, the VFX team, to everybody who came up with the idea of doing this. This is such a treat. Knowing that all of our great vessels are still here going into the 25th century and are being cared for and loved by, Commodore La Forge. I mean, it's comforting to know where these things are and where they stand.
Yeah. To me, this is like saying, we hear you, fans. There's us creatives out here that still that are trying to protect what you love. We're not just blowing them up for fun.
This is canon. Like, the thing is you never knew what happened to all the vessels. Not really. Like, they were decommissioned. What happened? Nobody knew.
Right.
Now we know.
Yeah, now we know.
This is brilliant. This is beautiful.
Brilliant.
I mean, this is a love letter to Star Trek.
And what an impactful way, like, what a way to make an impact on canon. Like, you know what? We're just gonna throw it. All these ships exist. They're all good here. Like, deal with it, future writers.
That's fantastic, and it's going to play to future writers and make it easier for them.
Right. We got a super chat from Colin, Christopher Mays. Thank you, sir. Thank you for Christopher. I want to know if we will see a Calm Meanie appearance. O'Brien may have 99 problems, but a changelings and transporters ain't one.
Well, I'll tell you this: we can't say, of course, who's going to still show up in the last 4 episodes of the show. But I will say that on my list of people is definitely Cole Meany. I would, if I was like going to bring people back, that'd be one of the people I'd want to bring back too.
Yeah, I saw him in the season or series, I guess, finale. I forgot exactly, but season finale for sure of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he plays Charlie's dad in Ireland or whatever, or Scotland or wherever he's from. And he was so great. Like, just so the actor himself, he's done roles outside Star Trek where he plays like a gangster and stuff, and it's always so good. Because, like, yes, we grew up with him being Miles O'Brien, but then he has like this really dark side in these like gangster movies. It's really awesome. It's really awesome.
It's great. So yeah, I mean, I guess we should talk about some of the ships that are there, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, here. So we got a whole list. We spent some time. It's so funny, Brian and I. We have the version that we were looking at when we did this. We have screeners.
We have screeners, and they're really bad quality, dude.
The screener quality is not great.
They're like 480p, like 21 FPS. They're rough.
So we're like slowing it down, we're trying to like figure out, we're like looking at nacelles. We're like, we couldn't tell for a lot of them, but just to go through some of these here, we do have, we got the original Enterprise NCC 1701. We got the USS Voyager, right? We've got USS Defiant. We've got the HMS Bounty, which is the Klingon vessel that we went back to 1984 with Kirk and saved whales.
There's this thing. Oh, go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, there's the Bounty. There's the Voyager.
Got the NX-01 there.
Oh, that's awesome. And the NX-01 that means it was like, dude, the NX-01 is in the 25th century. Right. How awesome is that? Like, oh my God, dude, I don't understand how people, I think if you ever weren't watching Trek as long as maybe we were, or a lot of us here, then it's a big deal to bring this ship into the 21st century. There's so many stories that can be told now. Like, it's so rad that ship is still here.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, it's good. We also have the Enterprises A, B, and C. We've got a Romulan bird of prey. We've got a Klingon battle cruiser, the USS New Jersey, NCC 1975, and more. So, if you get a chance to go through and look at all your favorite ships, they're there. And I'm sure that some of our favorite Trek channels will be detailingly zooming in as much as they can and going through each one of these that are getting there.
Yeah, we have friends that are going to be going through this frame by frame and like recreating parts of the frame that don't exist. Right. All right. I love this. And Geordi La Forge, everybody. For everyone saying last week, what's up, man? We're on episode 5. Where's Geordi at? Huh? Where's he at? Why haven't we seen Geordi and Data? We are 5 episodes in. There's only 10 episodes, and we haven't seen Geordi and Data. I'm sitting there. This was me the entire time. Like, oh God, oh God. I was on these streams, and I'm having such a hard time because I just want to be like, just wait 3 days. 3 days.
Well, it's funny. You got to remember, you got to bring the characters in a way that makes sense. Like, you can't really just bring them all in the beginning. They're off doing their own things. You want to give everybody the time that they deserve. You want to give them a purpose on the show. So, I mean, you really have to bring them in as it makes sense. And I think the way that they've brought the characters back is really just perfect. I mean, getting us to the Fleet Museum, seeing a version of Geordi that we don't know this version of Geordi. This is family man Geordi La Forge. And we find out very quickly that his priority is his family and not necessarily his old friends.
Right. Which, quite frankly, as much as I love all of you, and I'm personal friends with some of you, my family comes first. My kids come first, right? It's like my old friends from high school, college, the military, whatever, I care for them. I care for their well-being. But like when it comes down to it, the reason I've probably lost contact with some of my friends over the years is because I now have a family that I'm taking care of. And they have their own family. They have their own problems. And like I worry about them to that regard, but I'm certainly more worried about my and perfect setup here. I have 2 daughters. Geordi's 2 daughters. Same setup. Like I understand that. Yeah, you still love Jean-Luc Picard, but like these are your kids. That's it.
Yeah. And there is, and you'll notice as we go through here, there is some conflict because Geordi wants to help Picard. He wants to help his old captain.
Right.
He cares for his friends. You get a nice moment here where you can tell Geordi's like not happy. Like things are not, he's not happy that they're here. But yet he has this moment where, he hugs Beverly and like he warms up, he kind of melts a little bit in that moment. And then he gives the most curt, short reply to his daughter Sydney. Sydney, and it was like, oh dang.
Speaking of that, Foxhound super chat. Thank you, Foxhound. 100% shipping La Crush. Yes, yes, please. I'll take that to the bank. Sydney is awesome. I'm loving that character so much.
Yeah, she's great.
And now on screen right now, we actually have Geordi La Forge's real life daughter.
Yep, Mika.
Mika, not La Forge. Sorry, what's his name?
Mika Burton.
Burton. My God, what's wrong with me? LeVar Burton.
I know it's tough. LeVar is Geordi.
Yeah, there's so I grew up watching Star Trek, but I also watched Reading Rainbow, and I watched Roots as well in school. So like, this guy was more than just, when I was young, more than just Geordi La Forge. But over the time, he became Geordi La Forge to me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's his real life daughter, Mika Burton.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. The whole way the story goes down is, his daughter was interested in acting, and he was interested in Geordi. One of the big crimes of Star Trek, of TNG, was that engineers never seemed to have families. And specifically Geordi was never allowed to really even have a love interest. You had the love interest that he had where it was like really weirdly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like,
remember the hologram? And then
yeah,
there's this blooper where he's trying to get love advice from Guinan. And it's the best thing.
Yeah.
Because Whoopi Goldberg is like, have you tried fucking the hologram? And the camera says, what?
Well,
have you tried fucking it?
I'll tell you what's funny. He has that episode where like he's with Brahms and they have this whole like, romance thing, but then she actually shows up on the ship and she's totally different, which I thought was actually really clever, but it makes Geordi look really bad.
Yeah, it makes him look like a hyper simp.
Right. It really is not cool. And what's funny about that character was supposed to be a great granddaughter of Richard Daystrom. So when that Leah Brahms character was originally created, that was supposed to be a Daystrom ancestor.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about Daystrom Station, Daystrom, right?
That would have been cool.
Right. But the reason they didn't do that was they had already hired the actress and she was white.
Oh.
And Richard Daystrom was black.
Oh, man.
So they couldn't do that.
Damn. They should have made her like a mix or something.
I mean, they probably could have still done it, but, we weren't that advanced at the time. So.
That would have been really great canonically, though.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I always felt like the Daystrom Institute wasn't, like, it's being used in this season, but quite frankly, it wasn't used, like, as much as it could have been used in all the series of Trek.
Well, and when you think about the original Richard Daystrom, like, he doesn't come across really great in that episode of TOS.
Right.
Like, he's harboring, he loves his invention so much that he doesn't want to recognize its faults.
Right, yeah, you're right. But the whole Daystrom Institute could have been used more. Like honestly, there could have been a series called Daystrom where where they just dealt with the almost like Star Trek's Area 51.
Right. Yeah.
All right. You notice how Ed Speleers is crazy tall.
Is he?
Bro, like he's standing next to Patrick Stewart, Jerry Ryan, LeVar Burton. He's the tallest person in the room.
But they're all short, bro.
Wait, Jerry Ryan's not that short.
I mean, she's not tall, and she's also in the background.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, but those guys are short. They're not tall people.
I guess you're right.
He's a monster at 5'9".
He's a monster. He's a monster. 6'1". I went to get fitted for my tux. I'm the best man at a wedding this weekend. And I told the guy, I thought the wedding was like a month from now. So I'm telling like the person that's fitting me, I'm like, listen, just bring in the measurements by like half an inch. I don't want to look fat. And the guy's like, well, it's not going to fit you then. I'm like, no, I'll lose weight by then. He goes, huh, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'll be able to lose enough weight to fit into a half an inch. And he's like, sir, are you positive you want to do that? I'm like, yeah. And then I was sort of a dick. I'm like, I don't understand. Why are you questioning me? Are you like saying I can't lose weight? And he's like, no, whatever you want to do, man. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just about 6 foot, right? I'm 6 foot if I like stand up real like this, And he takes in my suit or my tux, whatever, half an inch. And so it's tight, whatever. I'm like, I have a month, I'll lose weight. And then I leave and like I get a text on the way when I'm leaving. It's like, don't forget you have dress rehearsal this Saturday. I'm like, why are we doing dress rehearsal? It's in May. He goes, it's this Sunday, bro. And I'm like, no. And I'm going. The guy's gone, and he won't return my call. It's been 3 days. I know. I'm gonna be saying this is gonna be fat guy in a little coat.
All of your buttons are gonna be missile hazards,
bro. I'm stressing out right now. I don't know why I even got on that, but like,
it just bled through our show. You're like,
My
I have to
bad.
share what's happening to me.
The second you say he was like 6 foot, I'm like, that reminded me of that moment.
Yeah.
And now I'm stressing because this weekend I'm going to be like this little this giant fat guy. And everyone in the wedding, everyone is a bunch of skinny, like, Orange County types. I'm like, oh, God.
Embrace it, brother.
I'm the one guy that's going to be like, giant fat guy.
This has been Brian's insecurity.
Sorry, guys.
And,
my bad.
And we'll be back with you in a minute with some Star Trek.
Back to Star Trek.
So Picard here wants him to basically clone their transponder so that they can trick Starfleet into like leaving Daystrom Station so they can go in and rescue their away team.
Right. And what's interesting is this is when Mika steps up. What's her name in the show? Whatever. Geordi's daughter steps up and he goes, look, despite my father's many objections, and she explains that the ships are all connected now. Like they're all networked together.
They talk to each other.
Right. It's almost like it's like a cloud for the ships.
Yes.
Right.
Or like a collective. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like a collective of ships.
Yeah.
So they're in the cloud now. So all the ships are connected via the Apple Cloud. And
the Apple Cloud.
And so he can't just clone the transponder because the Titan itself is the beacon now.
Yes, that's it. So if the Titan gets too close to another ship, then they'll immediately pick it up.
Right.
Which is how they're tracking him now.
Right. Now we're back on Daystrom, and Moriarty is hunting them. I love this actor so much. It makes me realize that I think society slept on this guy's ability to act for a long time. Because
listen, he was great in Fran Drescher's
The Nanny.
The Nanny. He was fantastic in that show.
That's the biggest thing he did after Star Trek was The Nanny. What are we doing? What are we doing? What? What?
I mean, he did some other stuff, but that was it.
All I know is that we have actors, these teenage heartthrobs. Like Lance Bass has had more acting gigs than this man.
Daniel Davis? No, I don't think so. He did a lot of stuff. You just don't recognize him.
Oh, I mean,
you're right.
I pulled up his IMDb. It's surprisingly sparse considering his abilities. Yet Colin Farrell has 18 pages. Anyways, such pathetic old warriors. I mean, the guy just delivers, dude. All right, so this is when they're doing the tune, right? It's the Pop Goes the Weasel, and from the very first episode where Riker meets Data on the holodeck, and he walks up behind Data and he finishes the tune.
That's because Data can't whistle. Yeah,
I can't whistle for crap, but he finishes the tune, and that is when it hits him. He remembers. Talk about full circle. We talked about this. The space babies. What do they look like? They look like the creatures from the first episode of TNG. They look like little baby versions of the space squids, right? Yep. And now we are again full circle, and he finishes the song to defeat the security thing.
Yeah, it's such a great little Roddenberry. It's such a great way of anytime you write a great story, you want to circle back to the beginning. Especially when you're completing something, and this is a completion of TNG, so it's important that you have a tie back to your beginning, and they've done it multiple times in the episode, and we realize this is leading us to Data.
And then this little quick foreshadowing where he talks about another friend who dreamt of crows, referring to Data. And
if you can upvote this whole thing for me, because
same here. And by the way, Sean, I'm not crapping on Lance Bass. He's not bad. I'm just saying he's not an actor.
I'll crap on Lance Bass.
Why is he in so much stuff, dude? I don't get it.
Is he like a Backstreet Boy or something like
He's
that?
a Backstreet Boy or something. He's in so many TV shows. It's unbelievable. Like I saw him again last night. I'm like, how is this guy gets acting job after acting job? Anyways. All right.
Who's the boy singer from that was doing all the stuff with Justin Timberlake?
Justin Timberlake. Well, he's
like, I like watching Justin Timberlake and stuff.
Yeah. So I think he's actually a pretty good actor.
Oh, yeah, I like him.
Justin Timberlake is not only is he a dreamboat, okay, but he's a pretty good actor. There was this he was in this show, I think it was called or the movie, it was called War Dogs, I think. Oh my god, I can't remember exactly, but he was in this movie alongside a couple other like up and comers, and it was about like these gangsters, and there was a heist film, and it was really, really well done. I remember watching the thing like, oh, it's Justin Timberlake, who cares? And then I watched the movie, I'm like, damn, Justin Timberlake can act. It's maybe the bar is really low because it's Justin Timberlake.
Maybe, yeah.
Like if he just pulls off a couple of scenes that are like remotely, reasonably convincing, I'm like, oh wow, Daniel, you know. I don't know, maybe. All I'm saying is, Moriarty, 1 page on IMDb. Lance Bass, 16 pages. What the F?
I don't think so. I'm gonna check you.
Look it up, bro. Look it up. He was on this week's episode of The Rookie. You're right, Sean. Yes. The Lance Bass was on this week's. Thank you for that button. That little period on my point here. He's literally acting right now.
No, he's got lots. He's got 58. He's got 58 roles. That's pretty darn good. I mean, he's been in recently New Amsterdam, Elementary, The Blacklist.
I love how Moriarty was in Elementary, which is a Sherlock Holmes remake.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
All right. I'll stop complaining about it.
All right.
I mean, I can complain about Michael Dorn, too. Michael Dorn doesn't get enough acting gigs.
He chose voice acting.
Well, that makes sense, though. That voice can cut through butter.
Yeah.
And the big reveal.
There he is, Brent Spiner, Data.
As we wander into the Daystrom chamber, we see an aged Dr. Soon type android. Is it Data? Is it before? Is it lore? Is it something new? We do not know. What we do know is that he is the AI that is securing the station, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, upvote 100%. So we got to get a vote here. We got and they do a good job of explaining things. Like they have a whole video section with Alton Soong. He dies before he's able to finish his project. Because there's a little bit of Soong in this too. And I think Soong is the human element, because this character has more humanity,
yes, than
the other androids previously. So it's going to be a compilation going forward. But I'm just looking at him as Data. That's kind of how I want to see him, and that's probably how we should embrace him. And
aging Data, because that's going to come up. Look, I like the fact that they built in the aging to this robot instead of ignoring that fact that the actor is clearly much, much older than he was 30 years ago, or trying to de-age them, which we've seen how that doesn't really work.
It doesn't work well at all.
So building in the aging to this, the same way Picard's body ages. By the way, I know they said that they made, Picard's robot body age so that they can keep working with the actor. How much older do you think he's going to look? I'm just saying. You didn't have to. It
was a dumb idea all around.
Yeah, it was a dumb idea. You didn't have to build that in. He's not going to look any older in 10 years. He's going to look the same. All I'm saying is, like, this was a good idea to explain in canon why Data is Data, and no more of that de-aging crap. It just doesn't work.
Right.
If Marvel with Marvel's Disney budget can barely pull it off, I don't expect you guys to do much better.
Well said.
Although TikTok is pulling it off for free, so I don't know.
I don't know about that.
It's true. My wife had this filter the other day that was like, look at what it looked like when I was 16. It looked like her when she was 16. It was wild.
Oh, that's wild.
Crazy. I was like, snap that picture and send it to me.
That's the Chinese government at work, baby.
They're doing great. Well, enjoy what you can, guys. It's gonna be banned in a couple months. All right. You know what's funny? So we went through this whole thing. Oh, we'll get to that point. All right, we're at the point where Geordi is talking to Picard, and I don't know. He's sort of reprimanding him, right? So someone said, he was sort of a dick this episode. Well, you got to understand that how long it's been, and how Picard strolls in and is asking him to put his family in danger and to sacrifice his career and his daughter's careers. Well, all like with very little information, Well,
he previously believed that he was putting Sydney's life in danger already.
Mm-hmm.
So because he doesn't know the story, he doesn't know exactly what's going on. He is not aware of the changeling problem yet.
Right. He's not even aware of it. Right. And so he's sort of giving him the business, It's always life or death.
It's always life or death. Yeah.
So it's always something with you. You're always saving the universe, huh? You psychopath. I'm kidding.
Well, no, and he's conflicted because he does register with that. I mean, he put his own life on the line with him for years.
Right.
And what we're recognizing here, and this is what's great about Picard season 3, is this is the evolution of the characters. If we had come to this moment and Geordi simply jumped on the Titan and ran down to engineering and started like being the engineer, it wouldn't have rang true. What has happened to him in the last 20 years? Well, guess what? He's gotten kids. He's got a wife. He's got a life where he's got a cushy job. He's at the museum, fixing up old ships. He's chilling. He's retired. Dude, pretty much.
What a job for an old engineer, right?
Right.
You got the job at the Fleet Museum. You just get to tinker with tinker and fix up old ships. Like, I'm sorry, that's like talk about a grease monkey's dream job.
Right. And so now he's got one daughter who wants to be in the thick of it. Right. And then he's got another daughter, but his family is his priority, but he's conflicted. He has two families. It's obvious he still loves Picard and the TNG crew, but he's conflicted here. And it just shows really great emotional growth and development. And I was really glad to see that they didn't just, give us the old Geordi back. That's not what we wanted. And it's not what they did with all the characters. It's not what LeVar Burton wanted.
Right.
LeVar wanted some growth and development for his character, and he is extraordinarily grateful to Terry for making this happen this way.
Yes.
So well done.
Yeah, what you just said is 100% on spot on. What Joey said here in the chat, the evolution of his character, he's a father. When I was in the military, I took a ton of risks. I think you did too, Shane, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we were younger and we didn't have kids, we were in the military, we took risks with our body, with our mind, with our, psyche. We made decisions that were solely based on our well-being or lack thereof. Like, I didn't even care about my well-being. I just, like, whatever the best decision I felt for that exact moment, not for the future, was. But the second I got married and I had kids, like, now I have to consider 10 years and 20 years from now. And I can't live the way I lived when I was 23 and in the Army. Geordi can't live the way he lived when he was in his 20s and, on an engineer of the Enterprise D.
Well said.
Okay.
So yeah, upvote that, please, for me.
Yes. Now we get the sisters talking.
First, look at the sisters La Forge, and it comes with a little splash of Jack, right? No, Jack is in the scene, right? Oh, that's right. He says, she says, basically she's complaining about her dad. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'll talk to him.
The splash of Jack.
The splash of Jack is coming, by the way.
Oh, hello, ladies.
That moment is coming. Believe it or not. Listen, Jack's a ladies' man. We're about to learn.
Oh, hello, ladies.
But before that happens, we have, basically the one sister tells the other sister, I'm sorry, I'll talk to him. So they both recognize that their father's a little bit overly possessive.
There's a little bit of falling out. There's not a little bit of falling out between Sydney and Geordi.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a nice moment here. So I love this moment.
In the captain's chair.
Right. You look at his face, right? He's like, mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, nope. Someone just gonna try it out.
Yeah, not yet, Junior. Not yet.
You know what I love about this? If this was, and I'm not harping on on previous seasons of Trek, but like, I feel like in previous seasons of Trek, like they would just sat in the captain's chair.
Right. Yes.
It wouldn't have been.
There's no reverence.
Right. It wouldn't have been an issue. You know,
Yeah.
They would have just sat down and started having a conversation, and we would have been on here on a Saturday like, why is he just sitting in the captain's chair?
Right.
We would have been losing our minds over this scene that the writers didn't even see was a big a deal, you know?
Right.
It's just a chair. Right. What's the problem?
What's the problem? Somebody's got to sit somewhere on here.
We got a super chat from Andre Benson. This on Gary's review. I'm convinced season 1 and 2 was an alternate timeline. I lost it when the TOS New Jersey and refitted Enterprise appears. I know.
We feel you, Andre.
What if those 2 seasons were? It was like an offshoot timeline of the Jaborgi timeline. What if what we're seeing right now is like that? This timeline completely devoid of the Jaborgi.
It can't
timeline.
be. It would be great, but the problem is we got the Borg. We got Picard's body. We've got Rafi's story. We know
that there was like 3 or 4 timelines going on, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like season 1 of Picard is what it was, but season 2 was different.
Right. What if that was a completely different, like, parallel timeline that was, like, wiped out, and now we're here in the present?
Listen, personally, I just wish this was the first season of Picard. Now, I understand, like, you can't go back and, like, change that, and it's happened, and everybody's got to tell their little story. And I'm grateful that we at least got this. I mean, this may have never happened, but how cool would it be if, like, this was the first season and we had, like, 2 more coming?
Oh God! Oh.
Right? Imagine that. Like this is season 1, and oh my God, we're gonna get 2 more of these.
That'd be so good. That'd be so good. Oh man,
that's what nobody's considering about this show. Like, think about it like that.
No one's considering that this is the final season.
Yeah.
4 more episodes. It's depressing.
It is. Really.
I'm getting depressed considering.
We're here to celebrate, but yes.
Now, so previously in the video, we were like scanning frame by frame and zooming in, and then we get to this point where Jack just points out all the ships.
We're like, oh, look, there they are.
One at a time.
Like we're sitting here trying to like zoom in and focus initially, and like,
bro, I'm trying to use AI to like rebuild pixels.
So we get this nice, really great close-up look of, we learn that Jack's a Constitution man, and frankly speaking, I am too. So that's great. But we get to a special ship here.
You like them large and leggy.
I like them round,
round and leggy, long legs and round, rotund shape,
and round saucers, baby. Give me a round saucer any day.
All right. I'm going to clip to this real quick so I can go to the different ships.
Yeah, we just get a really great moment here. I think
the Voyager.
When this is the one, we get a little bit of the Voyager theme song here. I'm really so glad they did that.
So good. The use of music in this show. Disney, please take note. For the love of God, if you have all this iconic music and you own the franchise, use the music that invokes the emotions from fans. The Mandalorian not using Star Wars music to me is offensive. It's offensive. In this series, we hear everything from TOS to Voyager to First Contact. We hear all kinds of interweaving and the emotions that come out of me when these moments play are like outstanding. Like every single time when those themes hit, I'm like, oh, it's shot in my heart every time, dude. Sorry to cut you off.
It's true. So I think Brian likes the music, and that's a good thing. He's like, oh, it does this. Yeah. Whoa.
Music is so important to a story.
You're right.
Yeah, look.
Steven Spielberg said half of his success is John Williams.
Right. Look, I have every one of these episodes with just dialogue. No music, no undertone, just dialogue and sound effects. One of these days I'm going to play you a clip where it's just the dialogue and then the dialogue with the music, and it's completely different. Yeah. It's the same scene, but the addition of music is what gives it the emotion.
Yeah, no, that's why we have music in movies. No, you're right. So, anyways, we get to the Voyager, which is great. Knowing the Voyager is here gives me comfort. I mean, I don't know how to tell you that, but seeing Seven there and talking about how this is like where she was really born or reborn, and she has a kind of an emotional moment here, and the reflection that we all get to have as fans, and for Voyager fans, this is a really special moment for us. And I really, really enjoyed it. Please upvote it for me as a big Voyager fan.
Yeah, and by the way, that means that in that ship is the Doctor.
We don't know that. Because remember, he was off the ship when they came back, remember?
That's true.
So at the end, he was, he's got his little mobile emitter. And
yeah, I just want to believe that if we stepped foot on that ship, like it's the same corridors, it's the same bridge. The Doctor is like, what's the nature of the medical emergency,
right?
Like it just brings back so many feels for me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's just I'm getting a little upset about it right now. All right.
It's not supposed to make you upset. It's supposed to make you happy.
It's wonderful. Thank you, Terry. God damn it, thank you. When we were doing Terry's interview, I was getting a little like choked up a little bit when we were like talking to him about all these different parts and stuff we can't even share yet. Because I'm like, he brought things back and he expanded on things that we never thought we would see again, like ever again. And it's like, it's so profound to someone who grew up with this. It's like seeing, the color blue. It's like loving the color blue and you haven't seen blue for 30 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden someone's like, here, you want some blue? And you're like, oh,
Your reactions are on point today, bro.
I'm sorry.
You're like Jack Tripper in Three's Company. You're all over the place.
Yeah, so I switched from Red Bull to Celsius. That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's good. It's working for you.
Celsius is, I think it might be worse for me than Red Bull.
It's having abnormal effects here.
If I have, if one day I just have a heart attack, you guys know what happened. Like, there's no mystery here.
At first, we'll think you're joking for at least the first minute.
The 5 minutes, I'm just like this.
I'll be sitting here going,
okay, man, joke's over. Joke's over.
The stream wouldn't end. You know what's crazy is if it happened, like the stream wouldn't end.
It would just
like you would just sit there, and there's no way for me to stop it.
It would just be me on stream for 6 hours.
While I'm like driving to your house.
You're driving from Oxford.
like 3 hours away.
And the light outside my studio would be on, so my family wouldn't even come in.
They wouldn't even come bother you.
They'd be like, I have burned it into their brains that if the lights on, they don't come in. They would no one would bother me. I would just be here dead for like 9 hours.
I'd get there in 3, so we'd be okay.
Yeah, all right.
Well, we wouldn't be okay, but anyways, what's the nature of the medical emergency? Yes, go ahead.
Right. This moment with Seven was really good. She was my home.
She was my home. Yep.
And now she's trying to find another. It's just really good.
And it's nice to see. I got to tell you, it's nice to see Seven smile. She doesn't do it very often, which is good because her character isn't built that way. But it is nice to see it in relation to Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
It's really perfectly well timed. Well done by the actress. Just was nice.
Jeremy said, Brian, just do math. It's cheaper than Red Bull.
Don't give him any ideas. He's looking to lose weight, guys, really quick. So.
Jeremy's a trucker. He probably knows about all the best spots for math.
That's messed up.
Sorry. All right. Now we get, and Shaq says, what's that one? This is great. Klingon bird of prey. I'm gonna clip to that. I'm gonna go to that frame exactly.
Yeah, because I have nothing else to say about this stuff. So yeah, that's good. But anyways, essentially, he remembers the cloaking device.
Right.
And that's what the important does. So everybody's like, "Oh, fan service again!" Ooh, boo! Right? You know, of course, those are the people who don't care.
Is it fan service, Shane?
It's not fan service. Well, it is fan service, but fan service with a point, because the cloaking device is important to the story.
Right, and this is what I was talking about. I believe in the first couple episodes, I kept saying like everything's hyperlinked, right?
Yeah.
Now there are some things that are just straight up Roddenberry's, right? Okay, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Kirk's, body is probably not hyperlinked anyway.
No.
Some of this stuff, Moriarty coming back, it's part of the story though. So like, yeah, it's a member berry. Moriarty is a member berry, a Roddenberry, whatever. But it actually fits into the story. There's a connection between the story and the member berry. The way you do fan service is by, and I hate the term fan service actually, because you're saying it's fan service to utilize 70 years worth of canon. That's not fan service. That's good writing.
Smart. It's smart is what it is, yeah.
It's smart. You should utilize 70 years worth of canon, for sure. Why wouldn't you?
Well, and what's the point of making something artistic? It's to create an emotional response. What's the best way to create an emotional response? With memories of things that gave you an emotional response. So and it's important. It's critical, in fact.
So if you can utilize things from the history of these shows and this canon in relation to the story, that's what makes it a Star Trek story. Like, just because you call something Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek, doesn't mean it's Star Trek if it has none of the things that make it Star Trek. Just because you put a Star Trek badge on, if the entire hierarchy of the ship is different, if the technology is different, if the way it works is different, the universe is completely different as a whole, just the logo and the name is not enough for it to actually be Star Trek. Part of it is involving using existing canon characters, stories, ideas that you bring forward and shape this grand epic universe.
Well said. Well said, sir.
Anyways, that's the Klingon Bird of Prey.
And on our left, we have...
please keep your hands and arms inside the car at all times. And we're moving on. All right, this is when he mentions the cloaking device. Right. So, I'm sorry. So the ship was at the bottom of the harbor?
Yep.
They
in San Francisco?
That is that is the ship from Star Trek 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it sunk in the San Francisco harbor.
Right.
And because its cloaking device was on, they couldn't find it for years.
Well done, right? Yeah. Isn't that great?
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like
great story writing.
What more do you want here? Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Like it somehow decades later they add something that makes that story even a little better.
Even better. Right.
It's crazy. That's
the secret. Make stuff better. Making the past better.
And then it's connected. It's not just a one-off story because they're gonna need that. They're gonna need that cloaking device.
Correct.
200-watt studio says, love the TOS design ships. No Discovery or Strange New World design in sight. Yeah, seemingly not.
You're right.
I think Strange New Worlds has some of the similar elements, right?
I mean, to some degree, but they're definitely, futurized.
Right.
This you see what Dave Blass has done and these guys have done with the ships. They feel like TOS movie ships. All of them do.
Yeah, they do. Okay, so back on Daystrom, he mentions that Data or whatever it is wasn't trying to hurt them. Right. And they go through the process of explaining how Data, how they thought Data died twice. Super chat from T Stoney. Love the New Jersey Connie and now STD SNW revisionist BS. Anyone who has been watching since TNG would know that You can make the TOS classic designs look great in the modern day. Yes.
Amen. Yes, 100% true, and they proved it here.
Yeah. When they called it like the Neo Constitution class, I'm like, just call it the Constitution class, but this like updated version. I get it though.
That's what Neo means, though.
Yeah, I get it.
It's still the Constitution class. It's just upgraded.
Yeah, Kirk.
But yeah, I agree.
Sexy AF.
No, that's really a great comment that he has there, because it's true, and they just prove that you could do it. Like, you don't need to make everything look like Star Wars when you're making ships. You can really do what the classic Trek has done, and they did it really well in the show.
Yeah, they really did. All right, so Data did die twice. Let's explain how. Maybe you haven't been paying attention. So he died at the end of Nemesis, protecting Jean-Luc. He sacrificed himself for Picard, and but there was this little hint at the very end of the movie. So during the press of the movie, they found like this almost prototype version of Data. It was called B4, like the letter B, the number 4, right? And the bad guy had used it to lure in Picard. Long story short, Data rebuilds B4 and then eventually deactivates him, and then they reactivate him. He tries to copy his memories into B4 because he sees that B4's body is there, but his positronic brain is like more rudimentary, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to try to like improve B4's brain, right? His pathways or whatever with his more advanced brain. So he tries to copy himself, but it doesn't work because B4 is sort of rudimentary, but the data is still there. He just can't process it. And at the very end of Nemesis, we hear B4 singing Blue Skies, which was Data's song that he sang at the very beginning of the movie in the wedding.
Yep.
And it's funny because I did not like that movie, but I loved the beginning and I loved the end.
Right. The Data story arc. Yes.
Right. And, he sings Blue Skies. And so here we are. That's the first time he died. The second time he died was in Picard season 1. Where
he didn't die twice. I mean,
I guess there was a copy of his pathways or whatever. That's what this was one of the criticisms we had in season 1. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Basically, Picard goes into like this like memory computer, and he's like talking to like this facsimile of Data, and Data's like, "I just want to die. Please pull my memory chip." And Picard.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, where did they get that from? Like, the fact that he was there. This is one of the problems with Picard season 1 is, how did Data get there? Like, how did his memories get into that device? Granted it's Alton Soong, but that doesn't mean he has Data's stuff. Data died in Nemesis. If anything, it's B4. And if they would have connected to that and said, but they didn't do that. Like, there was no connection to B4. It was like weird. So now this is like so in my mind, I know they just said he died twice, but Data really only died once.
Right, because the season 1 doesn't make any sense.
Right, that's the problem.
In order for my headcanon to work, I just have to skip those first 2 seasons because it doesn't. Right. Nothing connects properly. It's like you ever fix a car and you're trying to like put the door panel back together and it just doesn't fit right. Or maybe you're a computer case and you replace the part and it's not fitting right. And you're like, why is this not fitting right? And it's because you have the wrong side of the case. You got to flip them around. You got to get the right side. This is the problem with 1 and 2 is like, it doesn't really fit. I know it has the right shape. It looks the same, has the same characters, but the story doesn't fit right. Nothing fits right into like the grand, a fabric of Star Trek. So yeah, for me too, like, all right, even if Nemesis wasn't a good movie, that was still Star Trek. That was the canon, right? It still worked. That's when he died. That means that his brain, his memories, all that's left of Data was left in B4. And from what we know about B4, we have a whole video on it. Go watch it on Prime.
Yeah, well said.
All right. But it could be him. I love that.
Right.
So someone also said, so before the season started, like, why are they bringing back like Data, isn't it obviously just fan service? I'm like, maybe.
Well, in this, but it's not though.
Right, but I mean, like, how do you have the final flight of the TNG crew here without Data?
No, 100. Yeah, you're right. So is it fan service to want to bring him back? Maybe, but the way they bring him back makes sense.
Right.
It works. And and I think that's what makes this, this season in writing room so special, is that they're able to figure out how to do it so that it doesn't seem like it's just given to us as, it's just topical. It actually has deep meaning.
Yeah. I love what Christopher says. Fans deserve a little service.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Especially haven't been getting much lately.
This is when Soon is explaining that he took all the bits of Data. I mean, you want to explain this?
Law. Yeah, it's law, Data, lore. We find out later there's a little bit of Soong in there. And of course, Data. And a lot of data, he says. I think it's key that he says that. He says, and a lot of data.
Right, which was the best of the group, right?
Right.
So this makes a lot of sense to me. I've always wondered why Soon kept making androids. And in my headcanon, he was cloning himself from like the times of like Enterprise, from like that first or I guess the first ancestor of him was, I guess, back in 2024 or whatever. Ugh. But he kept cloning himself, trying to like live longer. And he realized you can only clone yourself for so long. And so he was trying to create like a golem that he can put his consciousness into and live forever. And
right.
It makes a lot of sense that Dr. Soong was creating these robots in the, with the express goal of living forever, And
yeah.
he couldn't figure out in time. Another super chat from Christopher Mays. How do you have the last flight of the crew without Data? Me goes looks for Wesley.
Well, what's funny is
Who?
they did Wesley so dirty in season 2 by having the Traveler come back and completely ruin a piece of TOS canon, which I can't stand.
Ugh.
But the fact that they brought him in season 2, they ruined an opportunity, frankly. They could have brought him back in season 3 and done something cool with the Traveler that didn't ruin Star Trek canon, and was enveloped in this story in some way, even if he wasn't here for very long. That would have been actually pretty cool. But because they had him in season 2, they couldn't bring him back for season 3 because it wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah. But plus, like, he's too OP at this point, right? He can solve problems by snapping his fingers, essentially.
Right.
You can't have these godlike characters like in a story, because then you can just solve any problem.
Well, how cool would it have been to have a scene in this show, in this series, that was difficult, that they were like dire, that he's able to kind of come in and do in a really cool way to save the crew, or to have something meaningful happen. Where his mom obviously his mom hasn't seen him, him to have a chance. It would have been actually pretty cool to be able to do it, but they just couldn't, because for absolutely zero reason whatsoever, they have him show up in season 2. And let me tell you why they had him show up in season 2. It wasn't for Star Trek. That's fan service for no purpose.
Right.
Okay. That's prime example of fan service for no purpose, because Will Wheaton wanted to be on the show.
That's it.
And so they found a way to get him in there. That's it.
Yeah. If he would have held his horses, he could have rode in on the Defiant during some perilous moment and been like, don't worry, Titan, whatever. You got Mom, you good? He could have like come in at the last moment, having maybe it took him a long time to get the call because he was so far away, and he comes at the last moment, and some key moment he like solves a problem for them, or does something that gets them out of a sticky situation. And even that one moment would have made that character retroactively cooler.
Right. And no, we're not saying solve the whole problem of the season, or save the whole season, but just a moment in the season.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Give him a moment that makes the character cooler. Now he has this beard and he's a little more gnarled, and he's like, oh, hey brother, we're going to have a conversation later, I guess.
Right. It could have been cool, but anyways.
I'm upvoting this moment, the explanation for Data before lore, whatever, and why he's there.
Awesome.
All right. This is the line too, because evolution is not. I don't want to get in trouble. Is not an act of preservation. It's addition. Really cool. Look at this flyby, dude. I love this flyby. If we were just waited when we were doing all over.
I mean, you really get to see some great stuff here. So,
yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. Back to Geordi and Picard. You want to explain what's going on
here? Let's see. We've gone so far.
That's not. Let's go back to Data, because like they just talk about the sins of their past. All right. So that is this is before. This is before his head.
Yeah.
Right.
So that tells us, okay, so now this makes sense, right? Where was Data last? In B4's head. Right. Where's B4's head? Here. I mean, it's just like laying it out for you properly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's proper exposition, right?
Proper storytelling. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're copying his head. Yeah. Makes sense. Love it. All right. And final log. All right. I guess, and this one explains that Alton soon died before he can perfect the golem, and this was what's left of his golem. And
he was never able to get.
Yeah, he was not able to get it to totally function properly.
Correct.
So Daystrom has been using it basically as the AI for the station.
Their security, right?
Which is super rad.
Yeah.
All right. So, and what she says, all the personalities remain at odds inside this vessel.
That plays an important role, so it's good.
All right, and this is when Geordi talks. He talks about he never feared for his life, but now that he has kids, he can't really. And he explains what we explained 20 minutes ago.
And listen, this is really important. Like if people like pass over on this and be like, blah blah blah, whatever. The thing is this is a theme for the whole season 3 of Picard. I mean, we're dealing literally with legacy, right? So we've been dealing with Picard has a son, which was unexpected. Riker's son died, and how that impacted him, right? Beverly's child. We learned how Beverly's relationship with Wesley, how she felt about that, and now we're learning, what Geordi has gone through with his children. This is a theme for the whole season. It's about the relationship between parents and children, and how that all results in a next generation, and how that affects legacy. So it's important, and it fits the theme of what's going on with all the characters.
Legacy. I love that term.
Yeah.
And this is when we get Sydney and Geordi.
Oh yes. So Sydney, a couple things probably also. So Sydney tells him, if you believed in me, then you would believe in this, basically helping the Titan. And she basically says, I'm staying. He tells her she's going to stay with him. And she's like, I'm going back with the Titan. Right.
Awesome.
So she goes against him.
Yeah, exactly what Geordi would have done.
Probably, yes.
Right.
And she said he's the one who taught her, because he says, they're not your family. And she says, yes, they are. And you taught me that.
Right.
So yeah, it's really great. Very powerful.
Yeah. Really good stuff. Alondra is the other daughter's name. I'm sorry. I did not know that. I forgot.
Well, this is her first time in the episodes, and
right.
Sydney's been there for a while.
Yeah, and Sydney's great. By the way, I really like the character. This is what sets apart this season from previous seasons. Is I actually care about the bridge crew. Like, I care about them. I want to see more of the characters. I like their characters. I believe in their abilities. Like, it just reminds me of classic Trek, where like you want to know who was on the bridge, and we've been put in a situation with newer modern Trek where the bridge crew really isn't important. What's really important is the couple characters that are in charge of the show, Burnham or whatever, right? And in this series, I love the bridge crew, and Sydney is that very first scene when Picard walks in there and she's like smiling at him. It made me smile,
Right. And what's funny is this bridge crew isn't even as important as other shows. So this is not, this is not the Titan series. This is Picard. You know, the show's really about Picard, and yet they've still been able to like ingratiate us with, you know, with these characters and that are growing on us. So it's cool.
Yeah. And this is when we get the splash of Wesley.
Wesley. No.
I'm sorry, not Wesley.
Jack.
Jack, my bad.
Well, it's funny because he's obviously macking on Sydney here.
He's clearly macking.
He's clearly flirting.
The La Crusher.
You know, and it's funny because he does here, you know, there's like this moment you're like, oh, wait a second. Is there like, are we going to get a love interest here? Something going on?
I hope so.
And then he kind of, you know, backtracks off of it when Alondra kind of gives him the cross-eyed look. And he's like, so do you guys want to like commit some moderate larceny? Yes.
I love this. This is so good. This is like, notice in this scene that I love, and I'm upvoting, there's no, these are all new characters. When was the last time an entire scene of nothing but new characters made you happy about what you watched? Been a while.
Long time.
Been a while. All right. All right. This is when they go back to Daystrom. So they're saying that. What's that?
Yeah, go ahead.
They're saying that Data recognized them.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if he recognized them or if he had Riker's file, to be honest, but I don't know.
Well, he recognized him. Well, or he will, I guess. Let's keep moving forward.
Yeah, he will. All right. Riker to Picard, you dead, it's John Luke.
Yes, they've run out of time on the station.
On Daystrom, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you got to go back.
Where am I?
Shaw, you missed the Shaw part. There
Okay,
you
go.
So this is so great. It's so subtle. I love this. Like Shaw is like all like giddy, like a schoolgirl talking to Commodore La Forge, right? Because he was an engineer.
Oh yeah, he's a great monkey.
Right. He's like, oh my god, it's like you're like Geordi La Forge, right? But yet he just had absolutely zero respect for Picard and Riker. And that is not lost on Picard's face here as he looks at Seven like, what in the heck is going on here? He's like crazy about Geordi, but he's got nothing for me. I thought that was a great moment. Yeah, upvote that for me, actually.
We got a super chat from Foxhound. Let's reset our phasers, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is great because he's a grease monkey. He's an engineer. He's a captain now, but remember on Wolf 359 or whatever, he was an engineer.
Right.
A grease monkey from Chicago. All right.
This is when we find out that that all of a sudden the Titan starts disappearing and Geordi's like, Picard, what are you doing? And then both of the men realize at the same time, they're like, they both say their kids' names at the same time. And they realize it's them.
Yeah, he says that this violates some treaty or whatever. It's shocking to me that we still have like rules regarding cloak. Why are Klingons allowed to use cloaks, but Federation's not?
That is weird to me, right?
It's been that way since like the very beginning. Like,
yeah, usually both people can do it, you know, or you have limitations. It's like nuclear weapons. It's like either you both can do it, or you both can't, you know.
Right. So they're allowed to use it.
Well, maybe there's something, you know, I didn't look into it deeply, but maybe there's something where, you know, currently the Klingons and the, you know, aren't allowed to use it. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. All right. So they get the cloak installed.
And then Geordi's all on board. Yep. He's all in now.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, Geordi's there. We're getting the band back together, Shane.
Yep, this is it.
And we're taking Data with us. Boom,
that's it. All we're missing now is Deanna.
Yep, we're that close, man. I love this. All right, so they couldn't beam them all up or something? What was happening?
So yeah, so they were struggling to get them, and they weren't. She was trying to download like the last piece of information so they could get Data out of there. And so Riker says, you know, I'm going to hold them off. You guys go. Right. So he basically sacrifices himself so they can get away, which is exactly what Riker should have done. So well done.
Right. Yeah. This is Riker. This is what Riker would do. Right.
100%.
I love the way Shaw's. Dude, Stashwick is awesome. He's so great. The way he sits, the way he commands the ship is just like, it's both reminiscent and fresh somehow. You know?
Yeah. Good. Well said.
Yeah. So Riker stands behind. They get everyone back. And this is when you see Data for the first time.
Oh, it's such a great. I love this. I love this here. Upvote this for me. You know, Geordi's face when he sees Data, it's like, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
because of course you know their relationship and
yeah. It's right back when we saw Worf, when Picard and Riker saw Worf for the first time. Like these characters coming together for the first time after just as long as we've been waiting. Like it's been 30 years, guys. We've been waiting for the same amount, 20 years. We've been waiting for this moment for decades. They're seeing each other again after decades.
Agreed.
Sorry, all time sort of flies together for me. Just to be clear. I'm still shocked that we're on the 6th episode. I feel like we were talking about this like last week.
I know. It's going by too fast.
All right. I'm just gonna skip all of it. Oh, this is good stuff.
So this is a good moment because we see that Jack is finally connecting with Picard. Now he's saying, as opposed to the beginning when he said, you know, basically he was born with like Picard's faults. Now he's saying, I've got good bits from my mom. Oh, and I guess I got some good stuff from you too. And I think, you know, as a father, that's all you ever really want to hear from your kids, you know, is that they acknowledge and are grateful for the positive things that they got from you. So I think this was a nice moment in building their relationship.
We did skip over something that someone just mentioned. I guess there was I forgot about this, and it's because there's no audio on here. But there was there was like a tease for something in Hangar Bay 12 or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a tease.
Well, it didn't really stay with me.
Oh, okay.
But
stay with me.
Get there.
All right.
Don't worry about that yet. Keep watching.
Yeah, keep watching, guys. Okay. Again, everything's hyperlinked. Everything's important.
Mostly.
Unless you're in tech trouble, then it's not very important.
not yeah.
Or if you're James Kirk body, that's just fun.
Yeah.
Why do you think I crashed somebody's speeders as a kid? I love this moment with her father, she crashed stuff so you can spend time fixing it with her dad. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
that touched my feelings a little bit because I have 2 daughters. Yeah. I feel like I don't spend enough time with. You know, maybe. Oh man, I gotta. Geordi, don't make the same mistakes I'm making, man.
Well, you know, and he recognizes, and to his credit, he makes it right.
Right. Now we're here. We got Geordi, Picard, Bev, Worf, Data. Jeez. Who's missing? Riker's missing. He was left behind.
Riker, Deanna.
Yeah.
So what we learn here is that, you know, Data's brain is partitioned. So right now he's all of the different personalities are separated, but in order to turn him on to get this information, they're going to have to remove those partitions, and they're not sure what that's going to happen to all those personalities.
Right. Yeah. We got a super chat from Justin Baker. The way Geordi's daughters interact with him on screen is really great. They just seem natural. Geordi's get away from my daughter. Geordi's.
Oh, that's such a great line.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin, for doing that for $9.99. Thank you. Because there is such a great moment, because when Geordi comes in and he's like, you know, they don't know how to fix the cloaking device. It's like about to wreck the ship.
Mm-hmm. And
Geordi shows up and he's like, I know how to do it. Right. And then he kind of looks over at Jack and he's like, what are you doing? And then he's like, stay away from my daughter. Right. And I'm like, oh God, you know, that's such a, no matter what century you're from, like that line works.
Yep, that picks up right there. Like, hey, buddy, get out of here.
Yeah, get away from my daughter.
Get out of here.
That's great.
Yeah, my kid comes home and like, Dad, I like this boy from school. I'm like, no, put a pin in that. Put a pin in that right now. Okay. Boys are horrible and gross. Stop. Full stop. Nope. No. Full stop. All right.
Amen.
All right. Yes, and they're trying to figure out what Vatic stole from Daystrom, so they still don't know.
Data's got the information.
So remember this. So
They
Vatic,
have to wake him up.
they did steal the portal weapon.
Yep.
They left Data there, which is like, so all the theories that people were talking about, like, what she stole from Daystrom was lore. Well,
Right.
We know that's not the case now, right? So whoever had that theory, great theory, that's now been disproven. So what did she take? It's in Data's brain, man. I'm sorry to get all the dude with you, but like
what was that all about?
They need
it's in Data's brain, man.
They gotta reboot Data, man, so they can get all the information, man.
Sound like Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yeah. Yeah. So they gotta isolate Data, away from the other personalities. Yeah, I guess his brain is partitioned like a hard drive, and you have like Data in one partition, like Data is in the C drive. Or no, the D drive. Laura's in the L drive. Soon is in the C drive. Right. So they boot him up. Oh,
he's awake. And you know what's so cool? I'm so glad they did this. It's Data. He recognizes Picard. He recognizes Geordi. It's Data. The first thing we see is him. And I think that was critical. I mean, that's the way it had to be.
Yeah, upvote.
If it would have been lore first, it just wouldn't have been right.
It wouldn't have been right. Yeah.
Right. So well done by the writing staff on that.
You want to upvote it?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, that's yes, there's multiple personalities in there, but the personality we need to see first is this one.
Yeah.
This is the one. And he needs to wake up and look at Geordi. That's what we need to see. That brotherly connection, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then no sir, the Captain Picard. It's just beautiful. What a beautiful moment.
So great, dude.
This is the moment we expected to get in season 1.
Yeah, it is.
And we didn't.
But we got it now. We got it now.
There are many of myself inside the Daystrom Android M510s. I guess that's the new model. All right. And then he starts
getting confused. They're trying to get the information from him, and then there's a little bit of a bleeping out, and then he's like, "I'm Lore," and you're like, "Oh, damn.
Hello."
And of course, Lore is Data's evil brother, and
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you guys all know who Lore is.
Yeah, you guys. Everyone knows who Lore is.
Yeah,
he's the bad version of Data. All right.
Yeah,
he's if he was human, he would have a goatee.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, he uses contractions.
Right, that's right. All right, so it is what the changelings stole from Daystrom.
What is it?
What is it?
Go back. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
It's Jean-Luc Picard.
Dun dun dun.
So now, I mean, listen, here's the real question. Did Jean-Luc know that his body was at Daystrom Station? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. My question is,
why is my body?
Why you guys have my body? Like,
right. That's
what are you doing?
The first thought I had. It's like there needs to be an explanation as to why you guys have my body.
Right.
But that's.
I guess it makes sense though. Like, if it's important. There wouldn't be a story here if it was like just buried.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have been able to use this one story.
I guess.
But I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's like that does beg the question of like, why do they have Kirk's body? Why do they have, why are they keeping the body? Do you just keep the bodies of like really famous captains at this point in the future?
It would make sense though if there's there's cloning in the future and all these like. This technology, like you don't want people to be able to easily get DNA of like these legendary captains with or admirals or whatever with all their knowledge and everything, I guess that makes sense, right? I lost Shane. He was looking at me longingly like, it does make sense, Brian. And then I lost him. Let me see where he's at. Oh, he's probably got to restart his computer again. All right, so we'll just keep going forward with this, and he'll show up. Yeah, so it makes sense for me from a technical point of view that you want to safeguard the DNA of your most valuable Starfleet members, captains, admirals, whatever, right? Especially ones like Picard, Kirk, Cisco, people that have like high level had or have high level access to these things. You want to make sure that their DNA can't be used for nefarious purposes, aka cloning, creating some kind of facsimile or whatever of that character. Imagine if, Picard was cloned and just walks. He can just get access anywhere just based on his name and how he looks. So it makes complete sense that you would safeguard that DNA, the bodies of those characters. Shane's coming back here. Just 1 second. You need a living DNA to make a clone? I don't think that's true. I think that if the clone is frozen fast enough, that's enough. I mean, you've seen Jurassic Park, right? Right? They didn't need the dinosaurs weren't living. I mean, I know that's fake, but I'm pretty sure they've cloned like even now in our day, they're able to like reactivate certain RNA strands and stuff like that with old like chicken DNA and whatnot. Yeah, it doesn't have to be living as long as it's preserved. Yeah, Jurassic Park did it. Yeah. And it was like blood from like the mosquito in some amber. Yeah, I feel like if we can clone now, like the sheep that we clone, Dolly and all those purposes, I don't think you need living DNA for cloning. Yeah, someone tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I feel like you don't need that. I just think you need properly preserved DNA. Because they're in the process of, like in real life right now, they're trying to clone a mammoth. They're using mammoth DNA and they're injecting it in some way. They're like creating this embryo and like an elephant's gonna bring it to term or whatever. I don't know. They're trying to bring back the mammoths for some reason. I saw it on Joe Rogan the other day. It was wild. Yeah, and it just needs to be properly preserved. That's it. I don't know about the COVID vaccine. I'm not gonna touch that one with a 10-foot pole. I like to keep my channel. Here comes Shane. If I can clone something, I'd clone a hot dog. Okay, I know what that means. Yeah, I feel like it would make sense. It makes complete sense to safeguard the bodies of these like legendary figures in Starfleet. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you just incinerate them so people can't use it against you. Maybe the right thing would be to incinerate. Oh, maybe they're keeping them on ice to study that crazy disease that is for some reason unsolvable in their time. Perhaps. That's possible too. I'm still a little confused as to why that they want us Borg nanites. Okay. Again, the easiest way to safeguard these characters, I believe, would just be to incinerate the bodies. But maybe they want to study the nanites, they want to study his brain disorder or whatever. Yes, we do know the answer. I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm purposely not giving you the answer. I'm just trying to theorize with you guys without actually saying what it is. He's like, killing me, man. Killing me. Shane's on his way back, by the way. Let me check on that real quick. Yeah, it's fun to talk about. I would still like to know why they kept like Kirk's body, and like in canon. Like, so it's not just because Terry wanted to sort of right that wrong of having him buried on a planet somewhere under a bridge, but like there's got to be a reason in canon as to why they need Kirk's body. I would like to know what that reason is. Oh, here's Shane. Shane is back, everyone. Here we go. Hello, Shane. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello.
You know, it totally jacked my camera when it took me out of here.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, so now I got to like figure this out again. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but anyways, keep going. I will fix myself and
yeah. So Kirk's body escaped time in the Nexus. Probably want to study it. Okay, I like that reason. So what makes Kirk special is like they're trying to study how he was able to, you know, because he was in the Nexus, how he was able, he came in and out of the Nexus, and how he was able to skip that large portion of time. And they're trying to hold on to Picard's body because his Borg nanites and his brain disorder. And maybe they're trying to study them for some reason. And maybe it's because if you really wanted to, I love it. Christopher Bay says, "Tell us something before Shane comes back." Nope, not gonna do it, Chris. Shane will never know, bro.
Oh, I'll find out.
No, but I like the idea that because the best way to safeguard the bodies of these legends would just be to incinerate their bodies. But I can see if there's some kind of scientific reason to keep them around, the Nexus, his brain disorder, the Borg nanites, whatever, good reason. I like that.
All right.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Welcome back, my friend.
Well, it's great. Typical computer crash, midstream computer crash. But now I got a new camera, which did not want to work with coming back. So
yeah, Shane's computer for some reason. We need to buy you a better computer. But like every 2 hours, his computer has to like completely reset.
It's weird. Only when we're streaming.
Right. All right. So back to this. So yes, they did get Picard's body. That's what they stole. We don't know why they need his body, but there could be a plethora of reasons.
And we got Riker on the Shrike, right? And now, did you show Vadic killing? Oh no, sorry. Okay, I thought he was doing something else. Okay, yeah. So you got these changelings basically kicking his butt, right?
Right.
It's kind of cool seeing Riker get, getting beat up a little bit. Makes you mad, right?
Yeah, makes me mad.
And then just to show you how crazy they are, basically this changeling turns around and kills both of the changelings behind him, and then turns into Vadic, who then has like some ridiculously crazy laughter over killing him. Like Vadic is obviously crazy.
You know what's crazy is for a minute there, right? It was almost like it was like misleading on purpose because I thought, okay, so it's Vadic, right? But right when I thought it was like another changeling rescuing Riker.
Right.
I thought there was going to be some kind of Odo connection or something,
Well, of course, that's the first thing you think is going to happen. And then you realize that Renee is dead and they, that's not going to work.
Right. If Renee was alive, though, that's what
that would have happened.
100% would have been what happened.
That would have been cool.
He would have turned into Renee's character.
Yeah.
Captain Riker, let's get you out of here.
Right. That would have been great.
God.
But instead, it's, it's like, oh, maybe he's rescued. Oh, no.
No. Crazy Vadic.
Gosh, dang it.
Yeah. So someone asked, why does Vadic have scars if she's a changeling? That's how nuts she is. She can look like anything. She chooses this crazy figure with the scars.
The outside is a reflection of her inside.
Right.
She's scarred by what happened during the Dominion War.
Right. Wild.
Yeah.
Okay, and he gets thrown into a cell, and look who's there.
Oh, you know what's great is he says I'll never give it up. I'm loyal. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, are you? And then we see it's Deanna.
Dun dun dun, and that's. Let me get to that point.
That was jumping
without getting a freaking copyright claim. Sorry, guys.
And then she's like, "Oh, Will," it's like,
Will. Yes.
Yeah, like, what have you gotten us into, Will?
And now we got the whole crew back together again. Well,
that's right. Everybody's on screen.
Everyone's been on screen now.
No, yeah, everybody's been on screen.
Right. They're not yet all together per se, but they're
right. And this is where the episode ends. Right.
Yep. And then the amazing credits, which we have said multiple times, don't be sleeping on the credits.
Yeah. And we do have a couple of so here's what are our questions leading in here. Okay, so what do we need to know? We need to know. Okay, yeah, so they brought the team together. We see Geordi. So why did the changeling steal Jean-Luc's body? Okay, we got that. We need to know. What is the final form of Data we've just seen? Like, we got to see Data, we got to see lore. We know he's a bunch of different things. What will that character end up being? Right?
Right.
And most importantly, what's going to happen on Frontier Day? So that's what we need to know.
Yeah, someone brought up the point that Frontier Day seems to be a bad idea, right? They're like, why are you bringing the whole fleet together in one place ever? Like, that is a bad idea.
Yeah, Geordi was writing letters for that. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, it's a bad idea. We don't know why. T. Stoney for $5. Thank you. Kirk's body. Shout out to the Shatnerverse novels. He was resurrected with Borg tech. Yes,
that's right.
The one where he goes to that planet Chad or whatever. He hooks up with like a Romulan Klingon hybrid woman, and he like commandeers a starship. To like protect the colony of Chad, these hybrids from the Shatnerverse novels are so great.
Yeah, love them.
Yeah, the Borg nanites is what brought them back to life. Super rad.
Love it.
The Return. Yeah. All right, and that's it. So highest rated episode yet for sure. 16, 18, so 17. That is the highest. So first off, not only the highest rated episode of Picard, highest rated episode of TV we have ever reviewed, ever.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many moments there. I mean, so many Roddenberrys, so many connections back. I mean, just lots of reasons why this should be the highest rated one so far.
Right. Really good stuff. Really great episode. A lot more to come. We have 4 more episodes, and we're coming into that third act, and man, it's setting it up real beautifully. Like, don't miss any of it. If you can watch this, it depends on where you're at, obviously, but watch this as soon as possible, because there are going to be stuff coming up that will be spoiled for you, because they're so epic and so like amazing that people are going to want to talk about it, and they're going to talk about it online. So either watch it as soon as you can, or just avoid it internet until you can watch it. That's all I can tell you.
That's all you can do.
Because there's moments coming up that are like that will be shared. They just will be.
Yeah. It'll come out fast too.
Right.
But so far, hopefully everybody's enjoying it. It's been really a wild ride. It's going by so fast. It's hard to believe it started 6 weeks, a month and a half ago. We've been doing this. It's really hard to believe that. But it's been great so far, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. So
yes. It's great. So that's it for this review. We got other stuff we can talk about, but hopefully you got some interest there. And if you have any questions on this, if there are like, obviously won't give you spoilers, but if you have questions about this episode or previous episodes that are, questions that you don't have answers to, or that you want more clarity on, hit the comment section and give us those questions, and we will gladly do our best to fill you in with the best answers. Okay. Don't worry, we still got 4 more episodes. A lot can happen in 4 episodes.
Okay, so
Brain, is there any Brain and Shane cameos? Huh, Shane?
What? No. Well, it would be really cool if somebody would consider that, but yeah, that didn't work out.
I'll tell you something. If we do get a Star Trek Legacy, Terry, can I just have one like ensign moment in the background? Okay, can you just have Brian and Shane walk past engineering together in Starfleet uniforms? Okay,
no, they are not going to do that. They're going to find the fattest aliens they can find,
right?
And be like, yeah, you guys can be Kerplaw 1 and Kerplaw 2.
We're gonna be like,
that's how it would. Or red shirts. I would totally love to be red shirts.
Yes, I'm just saying, like, Terry, if you end up doing it, bro, okay, I will. You don't even gotta pay me. I'll pay you. I just want to be on screen for 1 frame, okay?
You know how much money Terry could make with fans just paying him to be in it?
I know, so much money.
Let me see if I can give. So let's do a little breakdown of just kind of where we're at right now. So going into the 6th episode, so far we don't have Terry associated with a new series for Star Trek. For a lot of people, it's not, you're not going to be ringing the bell yet. I mean, obviously you're like, yeah, I want more of this. But when we get to the 10th and final episode, we'll have this great little conversation. And we'll just see how everybody feels at that point, whether or not they want Star Trek to continue. And I have a strong feeling you will want it to continue. What else is going on out there in Star Trek land? But if you guys are interested, as time comes, make sure you hit up the petition, terrytrek.com.
Terry Trek.
Right now, I think we did break 10,000 signatures. We have, Jerry Ryan supporting it, Todd Stashwick supporting it. I think all of the principal cast will end up supporting it at some point. Trek Movies probably going to be doing an article about Star Trek Legacy. Can you pull up there you go. So make a Star Trek Picard spinoff show, Star Trek Legacy. And that's the title that Terry came up with Terry Matalas as showrunner. And this is what we want Paramount and Alex Kurtzman to see. Going forward, we want Terry Matalas to make the next series. We think it's important. And one of the things we've learned about him, we've been talking about him for a long time. We had the weekly Terry, in lots of segments, and we've really been a champion of his because we feel like he's done such a great job. But the reality is through these interviews we've been doing with like his staff and his team, we've really learned kind of why he's an amazing showrunner.
Right.
And it's not, there's a lot of talented people in the world that can do a variety of different things, but it seems like Terry Matalas has a really special talent to be a sort of a conductor of like an orchestra. He has the ability to like find the strengths of his writers and what they do, and he attacks a show or each episode as a team type of effort with the music and with all of these different elements to create like this really great cohesive show. And he's the brain at the center of it.
Right.
He's the guy going, that doesn't work. No, we can't do that. Or, what do you guys think of this? The greatest leaders who we've ever had, the great presidents of countries, they always have somebody there to tell them what's wrong, right? You don't want a bunch of people in the room that are just going to blow smoke up your ass. If everybody just tells you what you want to hear, then, frankly speaking, even the greatest leaders, not all of their ideas are always the best. And sometimes you need to hear that other side of it. And that's what Terry does in his room. Like he actually has opposite viewpoints to what's going on to make sure that it makes sense. So you'll want to stay tuned for some of these interviews that we have coming up that kind of break this down. And the secret sauce to the success of whether you go back to 12 Monkeys or whether you look at Star Trek Picard season 3 is that you've got a bunch of people in a room that really care about the IP that they're working on, like that just kind of love what it is they're doing. and they find a way to tell a story that makes sense and that doesn't have holes, that respects the canon, respects the fans, and most importantly, is something that they can have a good time doing while they're making it. So that's the experience that we've been having. And that's why we support Terry to do more Star Trek moving forward. And hopefully that happens 4 more weeks. Hopefully everybody's like, we just got to have more, right, Brian?
Yeah, we have to have more. we must. We absolutely must.
We must have more.
So Jeremy Snyder said, Shane and Brian, please be Packleds. I looked up Packleds. This is what Packleds are. It is broken.
Oh yeah.
Can you make our ship go?
It is broken. I remember that episode.
It is broken. Yes. I think we would be.
That would be perfect.
That would be perfect. We'd be perfect Packleds, guys.
Yes. There you go. Yep. Good job, Jeremy. You found it.
Yep. There's us. There's me and Shane. That's great.
Oh, that's great.
That's my next cosplay right there. I'm gonna be Packled.
What else we got going on?
All right, let me close this down. All right, we got to talk about Strange New Worlds and Toxic Bullies, and what we're doing in the members section. We're going to be doing. Oh my goodness! Sorry, 1 second.
I don't care. I just want to talk to people. You know, one of the things that we got going around. There's mostly a lot of positivity going around Star Trek right now. I'm a little concerned that some of the YouTube Star Trek channels are. I really hope that they don't start judging Picard season 3 harshly because we're giving it a lot of praise. I know that there's some people. I don't know why the world is this way, but like when they feel like somebody is their, not to say their enemy per se, but like somebody that they're in competition with, that they need to like go the opposite direction. And I've noticed that some of the channels have been a little bit more tough on Picard season 3 for kind of like arbitrary reasons.
It's wild. Like they have almost zero criticism for other seasons of Star Trek that we tore apart piece by piece. Yet
yeah.
This one, they're like nitpicking. It's weird. I
feel like it's like a pandering to the fan base, like to their fan base. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna put a pin in it, so to speak. Wait and see how the reviews come out this week before we talk about it. But you know, it'll be interesting to just kind of see where people are coming out on this, because you know, if you are a newer fan of Star Trek, you're watching this, you're definitely not watching Picard season 3 with the same reverence that we are. You're not. Like if you showed up at the beginning of Discovery and you're like watching it, you might be watching it going, oh, well, this is fun. This is cool. Right. But I don't get why everybody's like so crazy about it. It's impossible. If you don't love the TNG characters, it's really impossible to feel the way about it that we feel right now.
Yeah.
And so we get that and we understand. But some of the people that are reviewing these things have been Star Trek fans for a long time. And if they're not TNG fans, and you have Star Trek in your title of your channel, then you probably should be TNG fans. So this should mean something to you.
Right. Yeah. Especially if, yeah.
And that's all we'll say about that.
And that's all we'll say about that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So what we're talking about next? We are talking about the Scooby-Doo thing. We're talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds season 3 and Carl Urban's Toxic Boys. I
think we should talk Strange New World season 3. Yeah.
Want to do that, and then we'll save the rest for member section.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk Carl, whatever you want. This is your.
I tried to open up while you were talking there. I was trying to open up this stupid link for the Scooby-Doo thing, and it just immediately started playing Fox clips.
Oh,
but with a allow ads on Fox News, so I couldn't even stop it. I'm like, ah.
Oh, I don't remember sending a link to you.
Fox. All right. All right. Let's talk about Star Trek. Strange New Worlds. We are talking about Strange New Worlds Season 3, boldly going for a season 3. Or I said that wrong. My bad. Strange New Worlds apparently wants a season 3, and we haven't even gotten a season 2 yet.
No, they don't want a season 3. They're shooting season 3.
I'm sorry. Is that what it says? It says Star Trek.
That is exactly what it says.
Oh, this headline sucks. Movie Web, you're killing me, Holmes.
Yeah, as you go into it, it talks about it here. Yeah. So Paramount Plus today debuted its first look clip from season 2 of the hit series Strange New Worlds. Akiva Goldsman talked about the upcoming season and confirmed that the 3rd season of the series was about to start filming. Akiva said, like today or tomorrow, we are announcing the air dates of the 2nd season, which I did not see that come out yet. So if it's out there, which we filmed like 17 years ago. Haha, Akiva. You'll be really surprised because we went all over the place. That shit makes me nervous when he says things like that. We went all over the place.
Oh, we did some new stuff. You're going to be it's going to be a shocker. Like, why are you doing that? What?
I tell you, a gloves off, like Akiva Goldsman makes me nervous. Like he's capable of literally anything.
Yeah, Akiva Goldsman with no oversight.
Unleashed. Akiva Goldsman unleashed.
Akiva unleashed.
You know, like literally he could be like, you know what? Listen, why don't we just do this next season on the moon? Like, I don't,
yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, we'll shoot it all underwater. Yeah. By
so
the way,
he says,
the Strange New World season 1, if you haven't watched it, is actually pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good.
Oh, yep. No Gorn. Just don't stop the Gorn.
Except for the Gorn. Shane does not like the way they represented the Gorn. He really doesn't.
Don't like the Gorn representation on Strange New World.
No.
And I do wish that the captain would do a little more captaining and less cooking.
Yeah,
please.
A little more captaining and less
more captaining.
Cooking.
Yeah, do whatever you want with your hair. It's looking great.
Yeah,
going well.
Every episode, it's like a little higher. Like...
I know, right? He said, but this is what Akiva also said was we're just starting to film the 3rd season right now. I love it because it's a return to the original My Trek characters. So what does that mean?
Fascinating.
That sounds a lot like Scotty season 3 to me. He just said it's a return. Now we know Akiva Goldsman is a TOS fan, or at least he says he is. And so if he's saying, I love it because it's a return to the original My Trek characters, well, we've already got Uhura. We've got Kirk, I guess, with Paul Wesley. But Scotty's the next one, right?
Yeah, we need Scotty. Like we were a little shocked that we were going to be getting Carol Kane as the chief engineer,
right,
for season 2, especially when that one, like toward the end of the series, they had that little Easter egg with Scotty's voice.
Well, yeah, that was while they were redoing. They were redoing they were in the future, remember?
Right. It was the future. But we thought, oh, okay, so they're going to probably just introduce. They killed Hammer off.
Right.
What was our favorite character of that series? All right, so let's bring in Scotty. But it looks like there's a stepping stone between Scotty and now, and that stepping stone will be Carol Kane, who is a great actress. But it makes me also worried about like Carol Kane's health a little bit. Like because if we get Scotty in season 3, what happens to Carol Kane?
You're talking about her character? Well, they don't have no problem killing off engineers, so
yeah. I don't see Carol Kane's character surviving season 2 if we're getting Scotty in season 3. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and here's the thing: is you got to be careful with Kirk's character because he doesn't show up to the Enterprise for a while,
right?
So, is Scotty going to be over on Kirk's ship, perhaps? How are we getting Kirk this season? He's captaining another ship at this time.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like these are 8 episodes. It says, for all the pleasures of an 8-hour serialized object, there's something great about standalone. I agree. I like the idea. I like the episodic, style, especially for Star Trek. But are they shortening it? Is this like it's just 8 episodes now? Like,
Yeah, I mean, look, money's a problem, man. Like seriously, Paramount has a money problem. So I don't know. It would not be surprise me if they cut it back a couple more episodes, but that was not the model. The model was 10 episodes per season per show, which gives Paramount Plus 50 weeks of content of Star Trek content, new Star Trek content.
right.
So the fact that they would be cutting it back to 8 is indicative of maybe these money problems they're having.
Oh man. I do not like the way TV is heading. I like that we're getting I mean, I don't like the way they're being shot, but like I like the fact that we're, rebooting things that are, when it's done correctly, it's great. When it's done wrong, it's bad. But I hate the fact that everything is so short. Like Netflix will never run a series past the 3rd season. Amazon's at the same point where like most of these streaming services do not see a financial reason to run their shows past 3 seasons. Additionally, they're like 8 episodes long. So like you're looking at roughly 1 season of TV. If you go back to the standard that was set for decades and decades before the streaming wars,
Right.
I mean, we could be getting 22, 24 episodes of TV. Well, now we're pretty much getting a season and a couple bonus episodes.
Right. That's it.
Like that for like, and that's if it's successful. So if it's successful and popular, it will maybe get a season. Like, for the love of God, like that's not really a lot of time to build characters and tell new stories. Like, no wonder why you are going back to the well, because you don't have time to actually build out a new universe. You have to rely on old IP if you only have 8 episodes.
It's true. Yeah, it makes it tough, and we'll have to see how things change, because the streaming services are, I mean, they're all running out of money. It was the wild, wild west. They had all this money, all these new subscribers coming in all the time. Well, look, we've pretty much all subscribed. Like,
Right.
Now it's about just moving people around on platforms, and you're not going to have this just overflow of money coming in all the time. So they're going to have to get smart about how they spend it, and they have to keep having new content. That is the other problem. It's like when you're on network television, there's only so many hours in the day. I mean, when you think about it, primetime television, that's where they had their bread and butter, right? All the shows, all the good shows were in primetime television, and you only had to have, 5 hours a night blocked in for television. But now on a streaming service, people are consuming content 24/7. So you can't only have, I mean, now you got to create content for 24 hours. That's new and interesting to try to get to. And now, so how do you do that? You have shorter seasons. You create less content to make people think they're getting more, and when in reality they're not, just like you said. So there's a whole science behind how this is working out, but we're still in the infant stages of streaming. Like, over the next several years, it'll turn into what it's going to become, I'm sure.
And as much as people like binge watching, that's actually a problem.
100%, yeah.
Netflix wouldn't, maybe they can have more seasons of, let's say, Lost in Space, which is a great show. Real bummer, because like that show was actually done really well. It wasn't an exact copy of the original or the movie. It was its own thing, but it was actually really well done. The characters were really likable. It worked. It really did. And that show was cut short because, well, classic Netflix 3 season. If you don't dump every episode in the very first day it's available, maybe you can stretch out your subscribers a little longer. I don't know. Generate some excitement and some hype around this TV show and draw more people in.
Yeah.
We were trying to cover Lost in Space, but like, what's the point? What are we going to do? Are we going to do all 8 episodes in the same week? It's not reasonable. So most people don't cover these big tentpole streaming services when they're all binging at the same time,
Well said.
Okay, well, that's it for this. So I guess I misread that. We are getting a season 3 of Strange New Worlds. I guess that's good, even if it's only 8 episodes. So really, we're getting like half a season.
Right. Well, I mean, half a season. I mean, we were getting 10 episodes, so it's 2 less.
Right, that's fine. I mean, so it's 16 episodes total.
What do you mean?
Like between seasons 2 and 3, we're gonna get 16 episodes of TV.
I don't think they said that. He didn't say how long. They didn't say how long season 3 was.
I saw it says he said 8 hours of television.
I thought he said that about season 2.
Oh, he did. Yeah, you're right. He did say that about season 2.
Yeah, so we don't know what season 3 is yet. Could be the same.
According to the future, by the way, it says the series can. This is according to the fix too, which is like they know when things come out. This is wild. It says technically the series can drop at any point in the near future. It will make its debut in 2023, and there's no actual date yet, and they're expecting it to be any time in the near future.
Well, they're. I think he said in that interview that he's expecting the date to drop in the next couple of days.
Right.
Of when the show's going to start.
It's probably going to be at the end of Picard. That's what everyone's guessing.
I mean, it makes most sense. Give us a week or 2 off and start up Strange New Worlds.
Right. Might as well. Right. And we'll be covering that too. Hopefully it's good. All right. Moving on. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so now. And hit the like button on the way into the comment section to let Shane know.
Yes, to let me know.
I'm just going to let that hang and just stop it right there.
Let me know how you feel about.
Let me know what? What?
And for all of you guys who are following along our Quantum Leap stuff, we greatly apologize at our lack of stand-upness with that. We have struggled staying up with Quantum Leap lately. I don't know why. Something happened a while back that took it off of our top of our radar. And we need to get back in there and spend more time with it. I did not see the last week's episode yet. I'm fumbling around with Mandalorian crap and this wonderful Picard season 3, among other things. But we do need to address that, and we will get that on, because we did get a Janice sighting this last weekend, and we definitely, I think the lack of a B story is making us less want to watch it. Yeah.
So this last episode has been interrupted. Here's what happened. Tuesday night, I go to turn this on, and I'm like, Ben Lenz in 1950s the psychiatric institution must help. No, I'm not in the mood for this right now.
Is that what you did?
Right.
Well, I mean, you got further than I did. So
I was gonna watch it, Girl Interrupted. No.
Okay. Well, so they're not doing a good enough job of maintaining your interest, and I think when they bring the B story back, because I believe Janice points out who is the person who, I think we get a really big answer this last week.
Right. So I'm going to have to watch it, obviously. So we dropped the ball a few episodes ago and Let Them Play, episode 12. And they took a really long time off. So we got out of the mix, and we've had a really hard time getting back into it, because Picard really does sort of, take up a lot of our time, to be frank.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of videos, a lot of work, so we just haven't had time to.
And we love it. We love it.
Well, it's only here for a certain amount of time, and it's we want to make the most of it.
Right? So. Yeah. I mean, we know we're getting season 2 of Quantum Leap. Okay.
True.
Let's rock and roll. Let me get in here. All right. So what we're going to talk about next? We are going to be going to the members section pretty soon, but we got one more topic to cover before we do. Let me get that link for y'all. And we're going to be talking about The Boys. I really want to talk about what do you want to talk about first? The Boys or the Velma thing?
Do you have information on the Velma thing?
I have the link pulled up.
Okay, we can talk about. I would pick it. I don't care. Probably
Okay.
Velma. Actually, I think we should talk both of them before we go to member section.
Okay, we can do that if you want.
Yeah, because they're topical, and I think everybody wants to hear.
All right. So while we're doing that, let me give you guys the link to the members section. So if you want to join us, you can. Every time I pull up one of our links and see myself talking, it throws me off. Okay. So we're gonna go to member section. We're gonna talk about the boys, toxic boys thing, and then we'll head over to the member section.
No, we're gonna do the other, both of them, Velma and the boys.
I think I'm gonna save Velma for the member section.
No, I don't think we should.
I think we need to.
It's topical.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I can't be as salty as I want to be then. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah. Well, you can continue to be salty into the member section.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. So here we go. We are talking about Carl Urban has no patience for any toxic fan of the boys. Your ass will get nuked from orbit.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's weird that this guy is starting to like co-opt his character. Like he's not actually a murderous badass.
Well, what I find interesting is that that's not all he said. That's funny. They took out like the really thing that people got mad. Oh, there it is. Okay. It says your dumb German ass will get nuked from orbit. That's what he actually said. And I could not find the tweet of the person who was getting angry or that was doing things. Did you find that?
Yeah, I have the tweet right here.
So what did he say originally that got him so?
It was deleted.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, he deleted his own tweet. Just a heads up. There it is. It's deleted.
That's the guy who made Carl Urban mad?
Well, Urban deleted his tweet too.
Okay. So we don't know exactly what that guy said.
I mean, he clearly said something that upset Carl Urban.
Right. But we don't. You're telling me you don't know, right?
No. I looked. I couldn't find it. Something.
So it's it says here's what Carl Urban said. It's come to my attention that a toxic fan is engaged in persistent cyberbullying. I see you. Stop. If you don't, the whole world will soon see you and know you for the cruel and wicked racist that you are. Your dumb German ass will get nuked from orbit. So it's funny because like the one thing, like forget everything else that's said. Like the one thing people like really went after Carl Urban for was calling the guy out for being German. Like, and that just became this like huge, like, why would you say German like a slang? You know, it's like the way people get upset about things. It wasn't, that right. Carl Urban is like, coming at this guy or whatever. Now, listen, here's the other thing is like toxic fandoms and stuff like that. Do you guys realize it only takes like 2 or 3 people on Twitter to have media reporting that there's like toxic bully, like there's right. The fan base is toxic. It really only takes 2 or 3 people. And it's not really I don't think it's fair that if you get a couple of idiots that it puts a mark on everybody who feels a certain way. And this is one of those instances where Carl Urban, like, look, it's a guy, it's a person, you're going to have trolls, you I don't know what this person was saying though. Maybe they were saying something so utterly terrible. I don't know.
So I looked at his archive and he doesn't specify. He does not reply. He doesn't actually specify who or what it was. He just tweeted out.
And none of the media agencies seem to have it either. So it's almost like, I wonder if Carl's like having this like internal dialogue with somebody or something. I don't.
This is why you don't take ambient and tweet. That's a Roseanne reference. My bad.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's just my whole point of this whole thing is I've noticed lately, like, when creatives see like a couple people say something pretty inappropriate, it gets labeled as being like, oh, those terrible fans,
right?
And I just want everybody to take a second and remember that, is it a whole, is it thousands of fans or is it a couple of idiots hiding under a bridge?
Hiding under a bridge.
What is it? Right? Frankly speaking, when it comes to Picard season 3 on Twitter, it's the same 5 dudes.
Right. Yeah, it is.
Like it's the same 5 guys, and you could easily take that and go, oh my God, the fandom is toxic.
The fandom is so toxic because look at all these replies.
Right.
Like this, like these fans are replying to every actor and every producer, whatever that tweets about it. They're clearly a toxic fan base. It's like 3 people.
Yeah, that's what I'm weirded about. So, sometimes I'm like, it blows my mind that there will be like Google News articles about racist fans.
Yeah, but we've learned how easy it is to game the Google News system.
But what I'm saying is how many, because that in the minds of people now it's a blanket statement. It's all fans.
Right. People don't understand how easy it is to get your news on Google.
Well, even if it is, okay, I'm not even saying like 2dudesnews.com.
Right.
I'm talking about Variety, or I'm talking about all of these large sites who see the toxic comments on social media, turn them into a news story because it's newsworthy to say, fans are saying that, fat people, should be the actors for the whale or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, and they're saying all kinds, all these terrible things. And now people go, oh, it's a bunch of fans. It's not usually. It's usually a couple of foul people.
Right.
It's not the entire fan base.
Who live in a van down by the river.
And Carl Urban is specific. He didn't attack all fans. He attacked one fan.
Yeah, one guy.
And he says, I see you.
I mean, dude, you motherfucker.
What do you think this is a serious, I love Carl Urban. Don't get me wrong. Love Carl Urban. Love him as Bones. Love him in The Boys. Loved him in Lord of the Rings. Loved him in Thor. But is this a little bit over the top?
I'm assuming it was something to do with the bad guys from World War II or something, which is why he specified German. It probably was something really racist, but look, Carl, if you ever see this, bro, if the picture is a little Twitter egg and he has 1 follower, it's not important.
Right. Yeah.
Look, anyone can create an unverified account and complain. There are people with alt accounts. There are stars with alt accounts that troll their own Twitter. It's just, we don't need to respond to every single troll that just says the most outlandish, insane things. It just, I think it just shines the light. Now look, light is the best disinfectant. So the easiest way to deal with the problem is to shine a light on it and let the sun kill the infection. However, some of these people are just trolling you. They're just trying to get a response. So when you get a response, you actually just enable them,
True. Yeah. No, it's best to just ignore trolls. It's one thing I thought it was interesting recently, Zachary Levi came out and he's trying to reason with people on Twitter. It's so funny to watch. He's like, no, I really love everyone. They came out, somebody's like, it's really weird to hear you say you love everyone. And of course he tries to come back reasonably. No, seriously, I love people. I love them. Right. And the guy's they just kept coming back at him and here's Zachary. No, he's trying to be measured and
he's a very reasonable, logical person, right?
Reasonable person.
Right.
You cannot be reasonable to unreasonable people. Those people are sitting back going, let's see what I can get him to say next. Dance, right. Monkey, dance.
Dance.
And the sad part about it is it pushes away.
I love you guys. You guys are going great. I don't appreciate that. You probably shouldn't be calling me that. Oh no, I don't. That's my mom. Why would you say this horrible thing about my mother? Yeah,
right.
It's funny watching Zachary Levi interact with the internet because he reminds me of a really nice 60-year-old man who just got his Twitter account. Right. And he's responding to everyone with periods and proper punctuation, very kindly. Right. Yeah. And the internet's just and he's like, Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Right. It's funny because it's like the crappy thing about it is that it makes these creatives go away.
Right.
So you get this wonderful, I mean, it's great reading artists like interacting with fans. It's really great, and it's engaging. It gives you a feeling about them, but they just go away because they're like, I don't want to deal with these idiots. So all I would say is to all of you idiots out there having a good time, just remember that you're talking to human beings, and try to be a human being. So maybe they won't just bail, and they'll stick around and they'll talk to us, instead of only post like something that they want to post and then disappear. And because that's what most people do, they post something on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and then they never respond to anybody.
Right.
It's like, here's my, I'm doing my social media, but I'm not interacting, because if I interact, then fans are just, some of them are idiots.
Well, yeah, some people have people that they pay to do like their social media because they don't want to see like the comments. They don't want to see the replies. They don't want to see the notifications. They want to promote their stuff or whatever and have a voice, but they don't want to actually deal with people.
That's true.
We have communicated with a lot of people. Maybe you're new. Maybe you're coming to this channel for the first time. We have a much larger channel, and we communicate with like industry folks, and we try to get them to come on for live streams and for interviews, or just to give a comment on something. And you'd be surprised the amount of times that we get to a gatekeeper where we have to like go through someone's publicist just to get a simple reply, to a really basic question, and it's because I think a lot of these people just don't want to deal with the crazy Twitter eggs screaming at them in Klingon or whatever,
It's true.
Anyways, I do love Carl Urban, but I think this is one of those, he probably shouldn't have tweeted that.
No, he shouldn't have.
Now, he can do whatever he wants. Freedom of speech, you do whatever you want, but like freedom of speech is not freedom of consequences. So like people are now asking you why you singling out German people, and I feel like that's a pretty fair question.
Yeah, I mean, if he would have just said your dumbass will get nuked from orbit, I mean, people might have rallied around him,
But except we never specify an entire country.
We never got to see another tweet. We don't know what the guy's like. I just wanted to know if you liked strudel. I don't,
I do not understand.
You misread that.
It was Oktoberfest, and I was wondering what your favorite meat was.
Well, what's funny is I don't feel like he would write this stuff.
Ricola!
Right. I don't feel like he would have written this about him. Like if a fan was doing that to him, I think this is about somebody else. So he probably is working with somebody who is getting into something with a fan, and he then came to that person's rescue. That's kind of how I see this.
And that sounds like a very Carl Urban thing to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Like Carl Urban is, he is a nice guy. He's obviously co-opting a little bit this butcher persona.
Right.
I'm gonna nuke your ass from orbit, boy. You're like, okay, right, calm down, buddy. Go get a chai latte and go relax. Like,
we want to know how you're going to do it. That's the other thing is never threaten somebody with something that you can't really do.
Right.
Like, because then it's just lands on false ears.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, that's it for that. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below, and away there. Please hit the like button. Moving on. By the way, I'm really excited about the next season of The Boys. I don't know why. Like, it probably should have already ended on the second season, but I don't know.
I have yet to create an opinion.
I like it. I like the sort of dark. It's like dark and gritty while being bright.
Okay. Yeah.
Sort of hard to explain. It's not Watchmen, but it feels like it's set in the Watchmen's universe, but like it's very bright and has all the comic book colors that you would expect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
You know what Picard season 3 is doing to me? It's making it hard for me to watch other content that's bad.
Oh,
so because now I'm seeing something that's good, and I don't want to watch things that are bad. So I find myself wanting to like turn on like MasterChef and stuff. So,
yeah, I used to do the same thing. Like Survivor used to be like my like I'm gonna put Survivor on, so I can avoid all like the bull crap.
Yeah.
And even that's become
bull crap.
Even that's become bull crap. Yeah. Like somehow Survivor, like the pinnacle of some simple, pure ideas, surviving. Somehow that's become political and like driven by like this checkbox culture. And you're like, I don't get it. The point of this show is to survive for 35 days. What? When did it become about checking boxes? And even Jeff Probst, who's like this, older cis white guy who's been a hard ass for 20 years, is having to deal with these like 19-year-old Zoomers complaining about his use of pronouns or whatever, and he's like, "Oh yeah, mom, so sorry about that. Automatic win for you." You're like, "What the?" It's just the craziest thing. Everything has been infected. Everything. All right.
True.
Moving on.
Except the Popcast.
Except for the Popcast.
We have not been infected.
All right. Speaking of infected, let's talk about Mindy Kaling and the White House, because it looks like President Biden has given Mindy Kaling the National Medal of Arts.
Okay, so this is my question. Like, here, listen, I've already said before. Now everybody is like, the headline is Velma producer gets Medal of Arts, and I get that. Like, the producer of, yes, 100%, Velma's producer should really maybe go to jail.
It's underage girls in the shower.
Medal, right? So, but we don't.
Biden's like, I loved your work on Velma.
but we don't judge a person by one thing, and we take their entire body of work and look at what's that other show she did, Ugly Betty.
No. She did the Mindy Kaling project.
Oh, the Mindy Kaling thing, right?
You just said Ugly Betty.
Sorry. Listen, these are not my shows, guys. These are not my shows.
She did her. It's her namesake. It's like her project.
Right. That's right. So listen, all I know her from really is The Office, to be honest with you.
Right.
And her character was irritating, but she was a writer, and I respected the fact I love that show. So if like she's getting an award for being an artist, in general, then that's one thing. I just need to know, is she getting it because of Velma? Because then it deserves everything that people are saying about it.
So this is what I saw. Hey there, hey there. I loved your work on Velma. We need more prepubescent teenagers in the shower. Okay, what you doing?
He's got his hand on her back. Is he going to whisper in her ear?
Hey.
He's not young enough. She's not young enough. That's the problem.
The best thing about President Biden is when he interrupts himself to laugh. I love it. He's
right.
Like, hey there. Like, it's really good to see, a woman of color.
Dude, I don't care what anybody says. Watching Biden talk is hilarious. It is entertaining as hell. Like, watch that guy talk as much as you can. Anybody who's not from America who watches him talk will be like, hey, Americans fucking lost it. You lost it.
Bro, did you see that the one where he's like talking about his mental acuity?
Yes, that's hilarious. That was so great.
There's so many TikToks that just take that one sound completely unadulterated and just copy it.
There's some quality.
I'll play one for you guys.
Do we get the question answered about Mindy Kaling?
No, we don't really. Like,
we don't. Ugh.
Yeah,
I'm going to look it up. I want to know whether or not to be irritated about it.
Okay, look at this, you guys. Oh, I'm not muted.
Oh, it's focused.
Look at, this is what I'm talking about. Let me back it up. All right, watch this. Watch.
How would you say your mental focus is?
Oh, it's focused. I haven't, look, I have trouble even saying to myself my own head the number of years. I no more think of myself as being as old as I am than fly. I mean, it's just not, I haven't observed anything in terms of, there's not things I don't do now
or is
that
it just
I did
what he
before, whether it's physical or mental or anything else.
I got a mental cutie of a fly.
Oh man, I love it when presidents say stupid things, man.
Oh, it's so good.
That's so great.
And then some of these TikToks where they're like,
How would you say your mental focus is?
Oh, it's focused. I haven't, look, I have trouble even saying to myself my own head the number of years. I no more think of myself as being as old as I am than fly. I mean, it's just not, I haven't observed anything in terms of, there's not things I don't do now that I did before, whether it's physical or mental or anything else.
The tape thing.
The trend is like to do the most crazy asinine things while just saying that speech verbatim. It's great.
Let's see.
Oh, it's so good.
It does not say in this article why she got it. You're right. I do think presidents sometimes just go, "Hey, line us up some famous people and let's give them some stuff." You know what I mean? Like, because it wasn't just Mindy Kaling. It was Gladys Knight, Julia Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld, and Bruce Springsteen.
I understand.
So it wasn't just Mindy.
I understand at least two of those. Well, three of those even.
You know what's interesting? BJ Novak actually showed up at the award as well.
Because they're married.
She's not married to BJ.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, he's a friend, longtime friend.
No, they're married.
Well, the article got it wrong then. You sure they're not married?
Yeah, I'm positive. Here, I'll show you.
So Ryan had to marry her in the end, I guess. That's what happened. Is not married.
No, it is. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. They're not married, but they're together. They've been together since The Office.
Oh, all right. Well, they say longtime friend. So Ryan is still not recognizing the fact that he is
right. That he Ryan's still in the friend zone.
Right.
Yeah. So it says, for the record, if anyone asked me to marry them, I would have said yes. Kaylin and Novak have never been married. I love it. So they're together. They're just in fact, her kid, her baby daddy, so they have a kid together.
So that's their kid? Wow, you know more about this than I do. This is stuff that I care so little about that I cannot possibly even wrap my head around.
The thing is, I don't really care about either, but I care about trolling, I should say perusing Reddit and seeing some of these like top posts where like, I just learned today that Mindy and BJ Novak are still together from The Office. Isn't that great? You're like, when did it become an accomplishment to like stay with like your significant other for a few years? I don't get it.
My problem is I see like the words Mindy Kaling in that sentence and then I fall asleep or move on. One of the two. Like literally any news about Mindy Kaling and I'm like, I do not care. And it's, when the Velma thing came out, I'm like, oh, Mindy Kaling's doing Velma? Okay, well, that's interesting, And then I saw it, and I'm like, oh, God. Yeah.
Mindy Kaling.
That's kind of what ends up happening most of the time.
She looks really skinny in that photo. It's sort of crazy.
I mean, good for her, I mean.
She lost it.
Oh, the Mindy Project. That's what it was called. Okay, so there's. Yeah, so she's being. Okay, here it is. I finally have the answer, guys. I have it. Actor-producer Kaling, who proved to be a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood with The Office, The Mindy Project, Never Have I Ever, and The Sex Lives of College Girls. See, they didn't even include Velma here. Velma's not even mentioned. Is being recognized with an arts medal for her work across television, film, and books that inspires and delights, capturing and uplifting the experiences of women and girls across our nation. So they smartly and wisely did not include Velma into the reason she got the award, which I think is fair. So, yeah.
I just love that shot of Biden saying next to him, like, that has
the whole point of this, Brian, was to figure out whether or not people were being right about the Velma thing. So this is our problem in the world today. People like to put out headlines that are not true. Right. So
Velma
producer gets award. That makes it sound like she's getting an award for Velma by the president.
Right.
That's what it seems like, right? And because people don't have the time nor the inclination or sometimes the mental prowess to actually go through it, they believe that and then walk around going, can you believe this happened? And listen, whether or not, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, we would like the truth to come forth. So the truth of this matter is she was being recognized across all of her works, of which 98.9% of it I could care less about. So, her work on The Office, good job, Mindy. Everything else, I could care less. But Bruce Springsteen also got an award. So
yeah, he's worthy of that.
There you go. He's worthy.
And I would say so is Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus is worthy. And guess what? Also, and I'm not saying that Mindy is not. Maybe her other stuff that I've never seen.
Not good. No, let's be real. I've watched it all. It's not good.
Really?
For my opinion, I watched every episode of the Mindy Project because it had some of the guys from Workaholics in it.
I was going to say, does anybody else want to know why Brian's watching this show?
No. Okay, guys. To be fair, okay. First off, she's a brown girl. I'm into brown chicks. Secondly, it has a bunch of people from Workaholics and Always Sunny in it. Some really funny people are in that show.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't think the show inherently is funny. She's not funny, but the people around her are. So I watched that.
Got it. Oh, well, there you go. Now, see, I
watched Velma because of naked cartoons. Let's be real. Okay. Not funny. Not funny. Not comical whatsoever.
Not funny. Probably not appropriate either, considering.
Yeah, I don't actually think cartoons. Her work on Always Sunny, people used to put up on a pedestal and say how great it was. It wasn't. In fact, I would say her work on Always Sunny sort of marks the decline of this once insanely, inappropriately genius show. And I'm not saying it correctly, but a show that was once so outside the box that it couldn't even be canceled properly.
Right.
And then you have Mindy Kaling come along and get involved for like one season, and that literally marks the entire decline of that series. So I don't know her personally, but from my opinion, everything I've seen her in has been just sort of at best subpar, or maybe good, but not because of her. It was good in spite of her. She does put the right people around her. That's for sure.
Okay. Well, then there's how you got it. That's the truth. And the White House just gives awards to random people now, apparently. So like, hey, let's get Snoop Dogg in here next week. His work in the medical marijuana field has been quite well.
Right.
Quite well.
Always Sunny got great again after her season. That's right. The name of her season was what was it? Patty's Pub Gets Great Again or something?
Oh, was it?
She was selling liberal tears to conservatives, and so basically it was the same wine, but she would put one label on it for conservatives and another label on it for liberals, and that was their hustle.
That's actually a good hustle.
Genius.
Yeah, that's how you know how you get everybody to watch? You create something for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We're moving on. Again, I still like Always Sunny, but like when she showed up and she did that like 4-episode run, I thought it's pretty much the mark of when the show started declining quality.
So just to put a pin on it, Velma specifically was not honored by the White House. There you go.
Biden's face.
Although he may have, if he'd seen him. Oh, this is a good dang show right here.
I love this show. It's really good. Good job, Mindy.
Can we get more of the redhead in the towel, please? How do we get that one?
All right, ready to talk about? Hey, finally, something we could talk about, and not get canceled over.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Let's talk about Brandon Fraser's defense of the whale from the fat phobic criticisms. Look,
wait, we can't be canceled because we're fat.
We can't be canceled.
Yes.
We are rotund. We are rotund individuals.
That's a terrible word, bro. Rotund is a terrible word.
We can't be fat phobic.
We are enormous.
So we're gonna make the official. So as what other groups usually do, they usually have like two really loud individuals come out and sort of take over the entire movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just sort of represent the entire movement. So we're gonna do that. We are going to come out as the official fat reps.
It's a terrible name.
And we're going to say the criticisms of exploitation of fat people by Brendan Fraser is completely unwarranted. And we, as the face of the fat folks, have decided that his work in The Whale is okay.
It's great, actually. He did a really good job.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He is emotionally fat. Like that's one thing. Like we're fat, but we're not emotionally fat.
Right.
You know, like we're adjusted human beings that are overweight. This gentleman in this character was emotionally done, right? In this movie. Brendan Fraser beautifully pulled it off.
Right.
And you tell me what 700-pound actor they're going to find to actually be in this movie.
Guys, it's acting. You don't have to actually be what you're playing. Like Michael Dorn is not a Klingon.
And I got to tell you, there's a lot of pissed off Klingons about that.
Right. Come on. Can we stop? Dude, listen. When Scarlett Johansson played in that horrible movie, Ghost in the Machine, or whatever it was called, and everyone got mad that she wasn't Asian. Guess what? I read the comics, and I didn't know that the character in the comics was Asian. So it doesn't... Here's the deal. She doesn't have to be Asian. He doesn't have to be fat. The guy from Stamets doesn't have to be gay, even if he is. You don't have to be... perfect point. The guy who played Joker, what's his name? The most recent one.
The most recent Joker?
Yeah, he runs a cult.
Oh, Jay. You're talking about
I'm forgetting his name all of a sudden.
He actually runs a cult. Oh, yes, he does have the little cult thing going on.
Yeah, he's a band. Okay, whatever. That guy.
Yeah.
He played a transsexual.
Right.
He doesn't have to actually be one. Characters have played characters that have AIDS. Are you suggesting that they need to have AIDS in order to play a character that has AIDS?
Maybe.
That's a silly notion. Why can't I?
Well, that's where we're going, though. Like, that's the problem. That's where we're going. Like, at what point does this all stop? You know, what point do you need to be? I mean, look at
Jared Leto.
The guy.
Damn it,
Jared Leto. Yeah, that's him. Look at the guy from Modern Family, right? The one there's a gay couple, right? Gay guys, right?
Yeah, the couple.
They're together. One of them is actually gay, and one is not. And the one who is not gay seems the most gay. Like, he's literally the better gay actor of the two gay guys.
Right.
Right, the big guy.
Yeah, these guys right here.
Yeah, he's not gay, but he's the better gay guy.
If you asked me, gun to head, which one of these characters is gay and which one's not, I would be like, 100% the rotund man on the left is gay.
Well, so he marks a couple of categories. Great, okay.
Right. But he's not. In fact, if I had to guess, I would have said right away his partner in the show is not gay.
We're right. That's what it seems like. So, you know,
you don't have to be gay. You don't have to have cancer to play a cancer victim.
Right.
You don't. It's called acting. It's pretending. Yes. You're pretending to be something that you probably aren't. That's
now the argument is that people of that type are losing out on jobs. Now, I get it. Like if you have a role for Asian people, right? And like you hire like a white guy, yeah, that is a good point. Like seriously, you should probably hire an Asian person if the role is for Asian people. Back in the day, listen, back in the day, in Western movies, the Indians were all Mexicans. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the literally, Indians themselves, except for like the main character, like they were like Mexicans or even sometimes white people. Like we're the Indians, like literally. If there's the Indian actors, yeah, let them do it because there's not a whole lot of roles for that. And plus it makes more sense. But when it comes time to do like emotional things or stereotypical things or things that an actor can be, maybe they can't change their literal race, but they can change their size, they can change their sexual persuasion. They can become a homeless person. They can become a rich person. You don't need to hire a homeless actor to play the role. And you don't have to go get, a billionaire to go be a billionaire. I mean, it's just at what point are we all just idiocracy?
Oh,
you know what I mean? At what point?
Yeah, how about this? How about the character that played Kirk Lazarus? Are you guys aware of this?
Kirk Lazarus.
All right. So if you guys aren't aware of this outstanding film, it's called Tropic Thunder. That right there is one of the greatest actors of all time.
I gotta tell you, it's one of the great movies of all time.
His name is Kirk Lazarus, and that's actually Robert Downey Jr. in blackface.
Right.
And that was the joke, right? The point of the joke. And there's this moment where someone makes a comment that could be directed toward African Americans, and Robert Downey Jr.'s character turns around and goes, "What do you mean, you people?" And the actual black guy behind him is like, "What do you mean, you people?"
Right. And it was really about actors who will do anything to get awards.
Right.
That's what it was really about.
Yes.
Right. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, listen, if people are missing out somehow because of things, I just don't know how many 700-pound actors there are out there that that couldn't get this one role in The Whale. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, have we really gotten to that point?
Well, what about Bryan Cranston's movie? He played a
the paraplegic?
Yes, he played a paraplegic, and people were losing their minds.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't a paraplegic man playing that role? Because they're not Bryan Cranston.
Because they're not Bryan. It was if there was a high, incredible paraplegic actor, then that could have played that role. Then that makes sense. But you're right; they're trying to sell tickets and
right.
Tell a story.
If in 20 years you make a Game of Thrones movie and you recast the little Lannister guy, right? Mm-hmm. And you cast him as like a 6'4" African American dude, you've made a mistake.
Right.
I get that. Some of these roles require a certain physicality.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the roles require the name. And you need you're not just selling the performance, but you're also selling the name. I would not have watched that movie had it not been Bryan Cranston.
Well, Kevin Hart was pretty good.
And Kevin Hart, sure. But had it been like Jonathan Marjorie, I would have been like, and
what name is that?
I don't know, like why? But why would I care? Like honestly, why would I care?
Yeah,
so
well said.
It's not just the physicality; it's also the actor that's selling the tickets, the ability to perform the role. And Brendan Fraser played a fat guy. He could actually be fat or skinny or whatever. Mm-hmm. But how many 700-pound actors could have sold that role? Honestly.
Are there 700-pound actors?
Are there?
They can't get out of bed.
Right. And what are the insurance problems involved with trying to shoot a 700-pound person?
Oh, yeah. No, good point. Yeah.
Like there's so many hiccups. Here's the deal. Acting is acting. It's acting. I get it. If you're playing a race, like there in the 70s, there was a lot of Bruce Lee movies where like this one white guy always played like the Asian guy. I get that. And Shane mentioned the Westerns with the Mexicans and the Indians. I get that. But in 2024, I believe that we can now stop fighting for this and realize that there is enough people of the correct physicality to play the role. Mm-hmm. And you don't actually have to have a disability, be 800 pounds, have AIDS, whatever, to play a character. And Scarlett Johansson playing a character from a cartoon that we didn't even know was Asian in the first place is not really a big deal. The biggest problem in the movie was not Scarlett Johansson's not being Asian. It was the movie sucked. That was the biggest problem. The story was not very good. So it's called pretending. It's acting. You're allowed to act. You don't actually have to be gay or trans or fat or anything to play a role. That's the point of playing the role. It's right. You're playing make-believe, and if you do it good enough, you get paid a lot because people want to watch you play make-believe. Period. The end.
Well said. Well said. And I also just want to point out one last thing. If it was like one or two people on Twitter who complained that Brendan Fraser, and then it turned into this giant big news story, God, just shame on you guys. So, because it's possible, we really don't know like how many people complained about like Brendan Fraser being not fat. Like it could have really could have just been one really aggressive Twitter person. And then Variety's like, oh God, this is going to be a great story. Right. You know, and then just runs with it. And then you get the director of the movie to like comment back. Right. So everybody's reading these headlines. So it's possible that there isn't a bunch of people complaining about it. Right. It's possible there are not a bunch of idiots running around in the world, guys. It's possible there's a handful of idiots running around in the world causing a whole bunch of problems because news media can make headlines out of it that will make us click and will make idiots like us talk about it on our shows. You're welcome.
That's true. You know what the wild thing is, though? I believe people are upset about it because people got upset, you know, that Jared Leto wasn't trans. Or this guy wasn't gay, or this guy wasn't disabled, or this person wasn't Asian. People get upset over that stuff all the time. So I believe that it's probably more than just a couple of Twitter eggs, frankly speaking. All right, we're going to continue this conversation in the members section. Look, here's the deal. If you are not a member, that's cool. No big deal. But if you want to become one, come on over to that link. You can either click the link that's in the chat or click the link that's in the description or do nothing and wait for it to forward you. Consider becoming a member today for this reason. We can actually chat with you and talk completely uncensored in the member section, where it's not open to the public. We can actually have a conversation, and you know, we would like to do that with as many of you as possible. So come on over. It's a cup of coffee or so, and we're gonna be going over there. Shane, you want to say anything before we go to the member section?
Listen, I appreciate you guys so much. We love you. We are so grateful that you come on our show every week and watch. This Monday, we're going to have Kirk Acevedo. I wish we had a picture of him we could show. Did you ever create that thumbnail that we're putting up?
Yes,
by chance?
I did.
So, yeah, he'll be on Raw Rant to talk Picard Season 3 and probably, you know, everything he's done in his career. That's going to be this Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you guys come back and check that out live. And we got it lined up every week, guys. We got different. There's Kirk. We've got people lined up. It's going to be incredible shows. We're going to have lots of panels, so make sure you guys come back for that. We have some other videos coming out that we're working on. There's only 2 of us, so we're doing our best. Yeah. So stay tuned for more from us. And
there's so much we want to do. Like we literally have like 20 videos that we want to make, and we want to release like 2 or 3 times a week, but there's just not enough. There's not enough time. There's not enough time because we don't just come out and like talk about it. We actually like produce videos. If you've seen our other channel, so hopefully you know throws encouragement our way. We are trying to get as many out as possible. We have some really fun ones we want to make about Picard Season 3. So hopefully we get the time to do that.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
And if we don't see you in the member section, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. You know what? We'll see you on Monday if we don't see you there. All right. Hopefully we'll see you there. Have a great weekend. Member section time.